Howdy, howdy, pals and gals. Matty G coming at you live from Isolation Station 1123. Yes, we're an hour early, but you know what? Our guest tonight asked and he shall receive. He is the chosen one. Well, maybe not the chosen one. He was here before. Like I said, I'm the host with the most, Matty G. We'll go around and introduce our normal panelists, and then we'll get to knowing our special guest tonight. We'll go down to Mr. Halo 2 is awesome. Some people would debate that with you. That's Mr. Aaron. How's it going tonight, brother?
It's going all right. Just sitting here relaxing and part of the show. Nice to meet you, Andrew, by the way, and we're happy to do this.
Ready on. And then we'll go to Nikki Hit the Sound, Mr. Matt Beer.
Red Beer!
Red Beer!
Matt, how's it going tonight, brother?
Pretty good. I would agree with Aaron. Halo 2 is awesome. It's the best of the Halos, I'd say. Finally got to go back to the movie theater, which was like a religious experience. Of course, I had my mask. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
The county I live in has gone completely mandatory. You must wear a mask in public.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to our next panelist, which means I'm going to hit this. And
This is the way.
This is the way, isn't it? That's the Mandalorians, Nikki and Devin.
Mandalorian way. We are definitely pro-mask here. Masks are great. Not only do they protect you from toxins and make your voice cooler, they really look cool. I sound 10 times cooler when I have the mask on than when I do without the mask. Devin, tell me what you think about Kylo Ren once he takes the mask off. Doesn't like it.
I couldn't take him seriously without that mask on.
Andrew, nice to meet you. Thanks for being on our show.
Thanks for having me.
And then, yes, as you've heard, we have the man moving on in the Star Wars tournament, Mr. Andrew Dimalanta. Andrew, thank you for joining us on our big 20th episode.
Done that many?
Hello there.
Yeah, we've done 20 episodes. We did 3 originally, and it was just, I wanted it to be a little out there, kind of SEN style, and we got more Howard Stern. So Matt and I decided to stop for a while, and we kind of discussed how we would bring it back, and now we're 17 episodes later. So welcome. Nikki, Devin, I'm sure you guys have loads of questions for him.
Oh, yeah. Trivia questions. Devin's been just smacking me with Star Wars, mostly Star Trek trivia all week. But yeah, so tell me about that Star Wars, the tournament. What do you think? Like Alex Damon, he can't be beat right now. It kind of seems like, as far as the last time I watched. I don't know if they released a Patreon match that I missed.
Yeah, it seems like that, but like I'm very familiar with the Schmoedown. I've been a fan since it's like inception back in the Toad Hop days, and if Schmoedown really proves anything, like nobody's unbeatable. I mean, the Dan Merle Andrew Guy match is certainly proof of that. It's just a matter of getting the right questions, getting just having things go your way. Luck has absolutely everything to do with how you perform in the Schmoedown. People might not think that way, but it sometimes luck has all to do with your win or your loss. So to say he's unbeatable is somewhat close to the truth at this point, because it's like how do you prepare for somebody like Damon? It's like, well, you can only prepare yourself, and just
you
hopefully
can prepare with his videos, essentially.
I mean, I've gone. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Alex and Molly. I followed them for a year. Like when the Star Wars Schmoedown became a thing in Orlando Celebration, when I couldn't even get into that panel, I was yelling at Christian Harloff on Twitter or whatever. I was yelling to the consoles like, "You need Alex Damon in this division," because I followed him for years, and I've since become like a good friend of his, and we talk all the time on Twitter and stuff, just talking Star Wars, talking Schmoedown, especially now Schmoedown, because his wife is in the tournament. I've been trying to get my first win for the longest time. But yeah, it's I haven't gone studying his videos so much unless I really needs something. But I for as much as people study with his videos, I don't do that. I don't want his voice in my head while I'm studying. I want my voice in my head.
Always there.
Yeah, but like as far as like what videos I watch him for, it's just like, you know, his maybe his reaction videos, some like fun like little Easter egg type things for books and things like that. That's what I really watch him for now. Anyways, I don't really watch him for just knowledge basically, because I can do that stuff on my own, and I've come to appreciate things like that now, especially trying to study for these matches.
Yeah.
All
Now,
right.
what do you think about the questions that they're choosing this year? Like, they're not just doing questions from the movies, but like if it's some sort of question where it's a canon person's name, even though it doesn't say it in the movie, like they'll ask a question of what. Like, I think one of them was like, what was Warwick Davis's name in The Phantom Menace or something, and they never say it in the movie.
Yes. So I've talked about this several times on my show, on other shows. I've talked to Roka about this. I've talked to pretty much all my faction mates about this. Like, what like the ridiculousness, quote unquote, of the questions. And it's like, hey, if it's said in the movie, it's fair game. If the person appears on screen, it's fair game. You gotta go to other venues to find the answer. Yeah. But if it's in the movie, and you know, it's fair game. I've been burned on that a couple times of like, hey, of thinking like they're never gonna ask that. Yeah. And then 12th Immunity Out came up, and so it's just things like that. It's as long as it connects back to the movie, it's fine. But if it's something that is like, I mean, that Constable Zuvio thing was kind of borderlining.
Constable Zuvio, yeah.
Yeah, it was borderline like, wow, really? He's only in 3 frames of the movie. Yeah. But also, he had an action
on every
figure.
shelf at Walmart.
Yeah, he had an action figure, and it led back to the movie in one way, shape, or form. But yeah, like the question writing has to be different for Star Wars, because it just has to, because it's the unique beast of the Schmoedown. So I don't fault.
Already asked everything else.
Yeah. You would think that. You would definitely think that. But going into studying with me and my wife helping me out, it's like we have even begun to scratch the surface of what can be asked, because
numbers, like so many different numbers.
Not even just numbers, just random things. And I'm trying not to give away too much of what I'm doing, but like just random things that you would never think of to like ask, is like, oh, okay, that's because she's actually doing it right now. She's watching something and going through, and because she has this huge list of questions that she asks me on a regular basis. So yeah, you would think we would run out of questions, but I'm like, oh, just spend a little bit more time like diving deeper into the movies, and you'll find plenty of questions. So I have I don't have no worries that we're gonna ever run out of questions.
Okay, they can TV too.
All right, guys, we've got one question that somebody's dying to know from you, Alex. Porgs, any friends or food? He's been sitting here the whole time. It's his question.
That roasted pork in The Last Jedi looked pretty delicious. So it's like, why not? he cooked two for no reason, and it just went to waste. So why not food? I mean, there's supposed to be a nuisance on the island anyways, so you might as well eat them.
Hey, somebody was grilling chicken on the side of the road earlier. Kind of looked like a pork. Gotta say, I would have took it.
I don't think that was a chicken, Matt.
Matt, if somebody is grilling food on the side of the road and offers you some, you should probably not take it. Just to say,
it's like the water bottle.
It's the Nelson's Chicken truck. It's the people that sell the chicken for fundraisers.
It's just like Michael and the water bottle. You always say no.
Look, I would normally agree with you, but if it's Nelson's Chicken, or if it says it's Nelson's Chicken, I'll make an exception.
Yeah, but now it becomes a bat.
Yeah. Let's not eat bats.
Oh Lord.
No.
Let's not eat bats.
Okay, to bring it back to a universe where that doesn't exist, Star Wars. So question, without getting in too deep, just based on your like personal preference of what movies you enjoy, what is the one that is hardest for you to study? Because obviously studying them means researching and rewatching, and which one is actually the hardest for you to go back to?
I mean, it would have been the Clone Wars for the longest time, but I've found the more I watch that movie, the more I don't mind it, because
just an episode.
Yeah, I've talked to Harloff about this as much, and we have the same opinion. It's like the more you watch it, if you look at it as a long episode of the Clone Wars, it's fine. It's completely fine. And I think the one that's the hardest to watch, and that sometimes I have to like just preparing myself as Attack of the Clones, because that one took
right.
the first time my wife watched it, it took her 3 days to get through because she kept falling asleep. She's just like, oh my god, this movie
Jar Jar's
dragged.
best performances in that movie.
I mean, I can understand that there are it is drawn out.
Yes, she just felt like she didn't connect it with the relationship that much. She just kept falling asleep, and it's like, oh my god, it was dragging. So, but yeah, out of all of them, really, it's just like I've been a lifelong fan of Star Wars. I find something to love about each film, and I've said it before that I'm a very forgiving Star Wars fan. People might say some things about like a certain movie. And it's like, oh, I hate this movie. It's like, well, I actually found this and this and this about it, and like there hasn't been anything that has come out in recent years, especially with the Disney era, that I haven't hated or not like just not really enjoyed. I can find something about each movie that I really enjoy about it. So yeah.
So
I agree.
Since you said you're you've been a fan of Star Wars for all your life, what was the movie that got you into the fandom?
Oh god, people ask me this question all the time, and I don't have an answer. I don't, because like I'm jealous of people like my wife, who's a newer fan. She really started getting into the franchise with the sequel era, with Force Awakens. Yeah, Force Awakens is her favorite Star Wars film, and it's my second. But like I don't like I'm so jealous of people like, oh yeah, this is the moment I became a Star Wars fan, or this is the movie that hooked me. I remember watching the original trilogy on Betamax when I was like 6 years old, and people always ask me, it's like, oh yeah, what hooked you? It's like, I don't know, because I would confuse the movies with each other when I was that young, and I would always watch them out of order. So it's like it was weird. So it's like I don't have a definitive answer. If anything, I would say like maybe the Battle of Endor, probably, because it's my favorite star battle, and I'm a huge X-wing like pilot type of guy. So like I'm so excited for Squadrons, or is that it? Squadrons. I'm so unbelievably excited about that. It's gonna be so cool.
Andrew is a fan of X-Wing, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to bring up our shocker. I mean, considering your entrance to your first. I mean, guys, sorry. I should have warned you ahead of time. We are a bunch of smart asses here, so we will bust you.
Oh, good for you.
But no,
Nikki, Devin, do you guys know what a Betamax is? Nikki, Devin, you guys know. Well,
dude, I'm older than you. What are you talking about? You know this. We've been over this before.
You're not.
I am
very familiar with a lot of.
41, dude.
Okay, you're slightly older than me.
Okay. So, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
It's Empire. I mean, it default to Empire. So like it changed, like just looking at the way it changed cinema and like the twists as always. It's just the one that I can always go through, and I'm not bored at any point. There's no point in the movie where I can pick out. It's like, yeah, I don't like that. I can find something in each of the films that I was like, yeah, I could have done without that. Yeah. But Empire, it's kind of like I don't know where I would find anything like that. So it's something that I've always, and being a film student is a movie that actually we studied and I had to write a paper about it. So
I did too. I did.
One of those things that I really like, that what you're saying is you find the good in all of the movies. And like one of the things that I always say is that me and Devin have been talking about this a lot lately, is that even the bad in Star Wars is some of the most quotable moments in film. Like Anakin, I hate sand, like that whole thing. It's like, it's really bad. Like even John Williams, the John Williams score cuts out in that scene and just quits the movie for a second. Well, Padme, like, no. But it's one of those things that even the bad in Star Wars, for me, I remember it fondly. So the only thing I hate in all of Star Wars, that I absolutely hate, that I can't find any good in, is in Solo. Solo. The way he gets his name, that's Star Wars.
I've been on record saying like I really don't. Oh, like when it happened in theaters. Yeah, if Han had given it to himself, I'd be like, okay, that absolutely works to fix the character.
Solo.
But it's some Imperial stooges like Han. He's making a joke like
Stooge.
Solo. It's like, oh, God, are you kidding me? And it's like
Yeah.
I don't. The moment itself of him not having a last name and giving a last name, it's fine. But like if he would have given himself like, oh no, I'm alone. I'm Solo, and the guy's like, what? Oh, Han Solo. That's my name. It would fit the movie much better. It would have fit the character so much better. But yeah, I think I completely agree. Like that's probably one of the things I will say that I just can't stand. It's like,
See, I love Solo. Solo is one of those. To me, it's
best
fun.
part of the movie is Darth Maul's phone call. I love it. But it's great.
Love it. It kind of reminds me of Firefly, like the Serenity Firefly feel.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
like kind of Western space adventure. And I'm one of those people that to the day I die will defend Solo. It's fun. It's exactly personally what I expected out of a Han Solo movie. So I mean, there, like you said, that part where he goes Solo, it's like, oh, that is cringy. Or
I really enjoy Solo. Yeah, it wasn't terrible like people say it is, but like I think my biggest problem with Solo is like it kind of it goes through the movie and kind of checks off boxes like, all right, this is how he got his blaster, this is how he did this is how he met Chewie. But I can forgive the movie. Again, I'm a very forgiving fan. I can forgive the movie for that. But when I just like ignore that, it's a really enjoyable movie. The humor is it's a very funny movie.
To me, I was gonna say to me the biggest problem with Solo, at least to me personally, is there's kind of a tone shift after the first act of the movie where you can tell they started using more of the reshoots. Like the first part of that movie, and again, I can't confirm, I wasn't on set, but the first part feels a lot like something Lord and Miller may have put out. And then you can start to feel where the reshoots started to come in, especially because, if anyone knows their history, Dryden Voss, that version of the character was a completely reshoot character. And so it's not that it becomes bad necessarily. It's just there's definitely a change in Lord and Miller, comedy directors. Ron Howard's a more serious type of director, and that to me is the biggest problem. Is like I remember I saw Solo 1 and a bit times in theater, because the second time I saw it I went with a group of friends and we were just like having like a fun day, and after that first act shifted, everyone looked around and they were like, all right, so we're bored, we're leaving, right? And that's how the movie's losing people, where if they're not interested in Star Wars, that shift happens and then a lot of people could potentially fall off. But it's not a bad movie by any means.
It honestly, compared to all the other Disney Star Wars movies, feels the most like the original movies in a way. I guess Force Awakens, is probably the next.
Both were written by Kaz and.
But they definitely feel more like OG trilogy, something that would have came out around that time, except more modern, I guess.
Sterling K. Brown was originally supposed to play Dryden Voss.
Was recast. Yep.
Yeah, he was recast as and they said it was less of a recast and more of a replacement of character, because I think they still want Sterling to play that character somewhere down the road.
I thought it was somebody else.
He wasn't. I thought it was Michael K. Williams. Actually.
It was Michael K. Williams. I'm sorry. I get those confused all the time.
I think it was just he was like, when they like extended the shooting out to do the reshoots, I think he just became unavailable and they were just like, let's do this on the quick. Paul Bettany knows Ron Howard. Let's bring him in and let's just do this real quick.
Yeah, I do think they'll bring him back for some role though.
Okay, what do you think of Mandalorian?
I really enjoyed Mandalorian. It was so far from anything that we've seen from Disney for Star Wars, and I think that's what the template is moving forward, minus the Obi-Wan series. I'm interested to see what casting is going to be like, because it sort of still plays with this idea of going off of the Skywalkers, but still kind of being familiar with what we know. The Mandalorian is just it's a brand new like area of Star Wars that I've been wanting more of, the post Return of the Jedi stuff, but also not dealing with Jedi, not dealing with the rebellion or the resistance or things like it's just this one dude going around and fighting off, having smaller journeys, and that's something that I've really enjoyed, especially with canon. Actually, that's the one thing I've had a problem with a couple of canon novels. The Last Shot with Lando and Han. I had a big problem with the bad guy was this galaxy threatening thing. It's like if it's going to be a smaller story, let it be a smaller threat. Not everything has to be galaxy like threatening. It's like, oh god, here's this other Sith Lord that we got to take care of, or here's this droid army that we got to fight off again. I like these smaller condensed stories of like these regular people in the galaxy.
No more planet killers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, Mandalorian was such a breath of fresh air, and I'm in the middle of I have to catch up on the what is it called, the Disney Gallery.
Gallery. Yeah.
Yeah, though that I love the process of filmmaking and love seeing how these things are made. And Gallery gives you a peek behind the curtain. And like the one that I'm stuck on, that I just can't stop thinking about is the one when they introduced the new technology with the volume. That blows my mind every time I see it. I'm like this, and I have no idea why like the people that are in the business aren't talking about this and blowing this up, because this changes everything.
Yeah.
It changes the way filmmakers are going to approach how they make their projects.
McGregor was so excited about it.
Yeah,
like I heard in an interview this week, he said that he's going to have so much more fun than he had shooting the prequels because he's actually going to have an environment to shoot in.
Yeah, and there's just so many benefits to this thing. It's like, budget. Your actors get to respond to actual environments. You don't have to fly people around the world. This is, and like the thing that I love most about this technology is that Favreau is continuing the tradition of Star Wars, is pushing innovation, pushing technology, and I think we're finally catching up to what George wanted like 20 years ago. He was trying to do this like 20 years ago. Like, I want to be able to travel to like exotic places in the universe without even leaving my garage. Yeah. So I think this is something that I don't think everybody is like not talking about enough, because it doesn't, like, going forward. Yeah. Obi-Wan's gonna be shot with this. Guaranteed casting is gonna be shot on this. Any new future live action movies will be utilizing this technology. And I can imagine like a kid or somebody, a filmmaker is like, oh man, I want to make this one project, but up until this point, I'm limited by my budget. I'm limited by the technology that I can afford. 5-10 years down the road, this is going to be downscaled. It's going to be more affordable, and people are going to be like, I want that because I can use it in my stuff. So
you'll be able to do it in your room. Like you'll be able
exactly.
To
So I'm actually thinking like, is there a way I can DIY this thing and make my own little Star Wars thing?
That's
I'm currently working on a short film type of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about, is there a way I can sort of just like very cheaply build something like this so I can do something? But like, I would love to get my hands on this.
I know how to do like the lightsaber blasters and the blades. Like those are the two things that I know how to do visual effects wise.
I was gonna say, to be totally fair to you, like if we're talking like filmmaking on an amateur's level, that intro you used for that match was really like that was a great effect.
Thank you. That took me on and off because I couldn't work on it 100% of my time because I had to work. I work full time. I'm an independent videographer. It took me 2 months to finish, and that was I was rushing it because like I wanted to give the editors plenty of time to come back to me like, hey, we need to fix this, this, and this. Thankfully, it didn't. So. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, but like I said in my last match, I'm not focused on that anymore. None of my time is going to be dedicated. That's to be preparing for everything that come, because it was a lot of fun, but really time consuming, and a lot of like work went into it.
Nikki's playing with the soundboard. That must mean something's coming.
Oh no, I'm not playing with the soundboard. I was just thinking of the visual effects, and you're right. It's time consuming, and I did like this 3-second video of Batwoman with a lightsaber, and it took me like 2 hours. I wanted to do it more, but like 2 hours, my back is killing me. I can't sit at the computer anymore. Like, how do people do this?
I mean, rotoscoping is something that I find it kind of therapeutic at times. I'll put a podcast on in the background, and just because you have to go frame by frame by frame. So if like 2 seconds of it depends on what the frame rate. If you're at like 24 frames a second. Your shots maybe 30 seconds long. I can't do that much math, but it's hundreds and hundreds of frames. So you got to sit there like, but there's been some great plugins. I think if you're into lightsaber effects, I'd look up Saber from Video Copilot.
Yeah.
It speeds up it speeds it up but it has its downfalls. I've found. Coming from like a purist rotoscoper, that's like I'd rather do it this because it has its draws, that's a fantastic plugin that I actually did use on my entrance. That it streamlined the process really quickly. So
nice, yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I thought it really worked. Movement was what impressed me about that.
the motion blur,
with frames and stuff like that. That excited me, and it made me like not. I'm like, oh, because originally I thought I'd have to like do every single frame, but instead I could do like every like 4 or 5 frames, 6 frames.
Yeah, it does. Like there's shortcuts to everything. And there's not one way to do one thing. So that's just another tool at your disposal.
Yeah.
So
awesome. So going back to the Schmoedown, who is one person that you would love to play against? Like just a dream match.
Just a dream match. Geez, I would love to play Smets. I would love just for fun, like choose a movie franchise or something, and then let's just go at it.
Bring him into Star Wars. Bring him into Star Wars.
Ooh, yeah. Once he goes, and Smets is somebody you don't ever underestimate, because like just I don't know how many exhibitions you guys have seen with him, but like it's like wow, man, like don't underestimate Smets. But aside from that, I would say oh yeah, thank you. I would say Alex Damon in a Scrubs match. Like Scrubs exhibition, because we both love Scrubs, and I can quote that show all day long.
Hold up.
Yeah.
What do you think of season 9? I have to ask. What do you think of it?
Is that the unofficial the med school one? Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what that is. There's a 9th season of Scrubs.
Fair enough.
I think because Alex has gushed about it too, and he loves Scrubs, and he had that famous he took a picture of Donald Faison and Eagle him at Celebration in Chicago, and like we were just talking back and forth. Like I would love to play you in a Scrubs Schmoedown. That'd be hilarious.
I think that's the thing we didn't know about you. You always ask like something that we don't know about. Yes, and I think that's it. I didn't know you loved Scrubs that much.
Oh yeah,
that was actually what I was going to do too. Was what's one thing about you that most people don't know? Well, I guess he answered that already.
It was something that because when I was in my freshman year of college or my sophomore year, it was in the middle of my college years so long ago. That they would have it would be syndicated on Comedy Central, and they'd play it like over and over and over again, and they'd hop back and forth between seasons. Like it would be like an hour on a day, and it'd be like an episode from season 2, and then they jump back, or it would be like on season 5 from the first episode, and they jump back to season 3 for the second episode. So it would always jump back and forth, and like it's on Hulu now, and I'll have it on the background, just like working at sometimes just to have something. Like noise or something if I'm not watching Star Wars. Right now all I'm doing is watching Star Wars right now. But yes, Scrubs it's hilarious. And me and my brother are always watching. We will like see each other for the holidays, and we'll like make funny jokes and quote the thing or quote certain episodes, and we'll test each other like, what episode is this from? What's the next line? So it's a lot of fun. I love it. It's probably my favorite. I would say it's my favorite show of all time, just because it's so rewatchable. It's so quotable. Yeah.
That's not a pick you'd hear that often, and that's most people go Breaking Bad or The Wire.
Yeah, I mean, those are great, but like I love Scrubs because I can watch it over and over and never get tired of it. Like Breaking Bad and like Game of Thrones, I would get exhausted of it after a while. It's like, all right, I got to take a break from this. I'm too depressed or something like that. But Scrubs is just like I'm always laughing at it, and it also has its dramatic beats as well. So that's why it's just a great balance of a show, and I love it so much.
Yeah, I would say like even in the world, if we're just talking about like greatest sitcoms, the one thing that I'll give Scrubs over a lot of shows, because I don't know if it's like my favorite, but the one thing I'll give it is, with the exception of that thing that doesn't exist, it doesn't have a drop off. Like right now I'm in the middle of rewatching How I Met Your Mother, and like even though I don't think the show ever gets really bad until like the last episode, there's a clear drop off. Scrubs, I think, is a show that for the most part goes 8 seasons without having an actual clear point where you can go, this is where it got bad.
Yeah, I think once ABC kind of picked it up, I think it was around like season 5 or 6.
I thought it was later than that.
I think it was like 6 or 7, somewhere around there. Like once ABC picked it up, you can definitely feel a shift in the writing, and the jokes aren't as like it has like it almost like they almost make an extreme of how JTE is JTE JD, thank you. So like he almost shifts to like almost extreme at some points, and it's I think like it doesn't drop off as you would say, but it definitely feels different in the jokes, but there's still moments in it that are like, oh yeah, this is totally Scrubs. But yeah, like I think I always like every time I get to like the very last episode, when he's going down the hallway and all the characters come, I'm like just bawling my eyes out. It's like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Why can't all shows end like this? So
Oh yeah,
Oh, you don't want The Sopranos fade to black?
there's a lot of crap series finales.
Wow. That's another thing that people don't know me. I never watched Sopranos or The Wire. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
I haven't gotten through The Wire yet. I'll be the first to admit that. But Sopranos was, it was kind of hard because it came out when I was really young. So it wasn't in my age group. But now that I go back and watched it, it was very bingeable.
Yeah.
And then that last episode, and it's like, kind of like Lost. Like, really?
What do you think is the worst series finale of all time?
Ooh.
I mean, I just referenced that How I Met Your Mother has to be up there, right? They took they took a whole episode. They took a whole episode of How I Met Your Mother, a two-parter finale, to literally tear down like 3 seasons of build-up just to get back to an ending they filmed in season 2.
Right.
That's got to be up there.
Dexter's up there. Seinfeld.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, I heard, Seinfeld. I heard a lot of because my in-laws were huge Seinfeld fans, and they hated how the series ended. I was like, oh.
Star Trek Enterprise has Riker and Troy on for no reason, like doing a holodeck recreation, and like one of the main cast members die when like the last episode was just so hopeful, and then like you get to the end of it,
cast member,
the best character, the best character dies on the show. It's just like, that's a horrible ending. Why would you do this? So that Riker can learn a lesson 5 years ago when he was on the Enterprise D? Like, what are you doing?
I just want to point out that we have a Star Wars competitor who actually has a Star Wars poster behind him, and yet Nikki gets the conversation to Star Trek.
Star Wars hasn't had a crappy series finale yet. The Rebel series finale was great. The Clone Wars series finale was some of the best Star Wars that you can ever have.
Have you seen Resistance?
Resistance, it didn't happen. It was like that
Resistance?
I didn't mind Resistance. I thought Resistance was fine. I thought it was pretty.
It's not
good.
bad.
Okay. What did you think of the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars?
Here we go.
That's the last 4 episodes. That's what the Ahsoka arc on Mandalore. That's some of the that's some of the best. Like the Maul Ahsoka fight is inching closer. The more I watch it, it's inching closer and closer to my favorite lightsaber duel of all time.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Let's watch it.
And my only fault I can give it is it's too short. I'm like, give me
more.
Give me more of this, like the length of the Obi-Wan Anakin fight in Revenge of the Sith. It's like it's unreal.
More.
So like like I wish they would have, because guaranteed I think this was the last 4 episodes was supposed to be a movie. Yeah. But they're like, let's milk this as much as possible. Let's get some more throwaway scripts that you've written, add them onto the beginning of the series, and then we'll get really into what you want to do. So
I thought they were going to release it as a movie, and then Corona happened, and they backed away from that. Like that's what I thought happened. Because if you look at it, the animation is so much better. Yeah, even from the previous 8 episodes, which was already a step up.
Can you imagine the poetic justice and the poetic balance of the Clone Wars? You started off with this terrible movie that everybody thought ruined Star Wars, and then you get into the series and everybody's loving it now, and then to cap it off with another movie that everybody's gonna love, and the technology is so much better, the animation, the action is so much better. Can you imagine the poetic justice for Favreau? Like,
I don't know why
that would have been great.
I don't know why they wouldn't just release it as a movie. If it's going to Disney Plus anyways, why not just put it out as a movie?
Because you get to drag it out 4 weeks.
It's already there.
And you should, so it's Disney. They're always money hungry. It's from like after Corona's all said and done, the world's gonna be run by Google and Disney fighting for control.
Oh, come on now.
Thank you.
Because you got to say in Endgame, one of the key points to that movie is when Scott Lang gets out of the time vortex, and what lets him out? A rat.
Yeah.
I mean,
is there a difference between a rat and a mouse?
A rat is much bigger.
I answered mouse in that during a trivia match, and I got the answer wrong. It's like I always thought rats and mouse were the same.
Nice.
Like you can't penalize me because I had a poor education.
It's like gators and crocodiles. They're close, but not quite.
I think Crocs are a regional.
On either side.
I think it's a regional thing. Like you won't find a crocodile in a certain part of the world, and I don't know.
You can tell the difference by the 4th tooth, like sticking, like showing through an alligator.
Wow, Devin, you know a lot about alligators.
Oh, good for you.
I know a lot of shit that's not useful for trivia. Shit that'll never get asked.
Well, not movie trivia, but
They
go to
never
a
say
bar.
never. People are gonna eventually run out of questions.
My knowledge is
Start
too
asking about alligators.
few and far between.
I mean, Aaron, we just celebrated his graduation from high school. I think he's got time.
I think you can walk into bars. You just can't drink. That or I've been breaking the law. One or the other.
I think you can go to Michigan and do that. But I think most places you can't even enter.
Wow.
Well, most bars where I'm at fail to even ID. I mean, I went to a bar once and they just straight up offered me a drink without even checking. So.
God damn it!
There you go.
Look older than him.
That's true.
Don't make me kill you.
I don't know. What do you guys think is the most quotable Star Wars movie? Not necessarily the best.
Revenge of the Sith. It's by
like
far Revenge of the Sith.
There's
It's Revenge of the Sith.
Jedi. Last Jedi's another
I
one.
am the Senate.
It's like Last
Damn
Jedi's
it.
been climbing up there now. I've been seeing more and more memes with it.
Unlimited power.
Or I should say, Adam Driver in Star Wars is becoming the most memed character.
More.
Oh, so you-
I would agree with Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith has some good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Revenge of the Sith too, but I mean, Last Jedi is starting to climb up there.
Mm-hmm.
Just Adam Driver alone is up there because it seems like everything he says is becoming a meme.
I'm sure you are.
Well, that's because if the internet.
That's my favorite.
That's because on the internet you either hate him or want to fuck him. Apparently, so you know.
So yeah, which way do you lean?
Right.
Oh
No,
God! Please
You
don't.
brought it up.
Fun
Glad
fact:
this
Adam
video
Driver.
isn't monetized, guys, or we'd be already be in trouble.
Look, we're 30 minutes in again now. But no, fun fact: Driver went to high school 30 minutes from where I went to high school.
Oh wow.
So
Nice.
yeah,
Oh, good.
because
for you.
he's from well, he grew up in South Bend, and they wanted to name it Bend when Force Awakens came out.
Wow.
Like there's a petition going, like just change the name. Didn't happen, which is stupid on my part. Should have changed.
Illogical.
Okay, here. Have you ever been to either of the Galaxy's Edge parks?
No, I haven't. Even though I live in Orlando,
Gotta go.
God, like it's just, especially now, it's hard to go. I don't think we like.
I don't have
old
Orlando.
enough. So like we're waiting maybe for my daughter to be maybe a year, like 3 years, like because what is it? The Disney thing's like what 3 years old and they can give them for free or something like that. So maybe something like that.
I think it's up to 3 because once they hit 3 years old, then
they start charging.
Yeah, I mean she's a small kid, so maybe we can get away with it when she's 5. But yeah, I've been wanting to go. It's just I just haven't found a chance or an opportunity to, and then COVID hit, and now I'm not going to go for another year or two. So
yeah,
I'm steering clear of that. But like, I'm dying to go. I want to experience it. I'm most definitely going to cry when I walk in.
I was gonna say because I actually also live in Orlando.
Oh, nice.
But I've been to it. What I would say
Talking
is
about Orlando.
Go to it prepared to have money, because especially if you're someone who loves Star Wars as much as you, it is, everything there is so well done in terms of like sucking you into the experience that like you're just if you're just gonna want to go, especially because like the first time I went not intending to spend money, and it was before they opened Rise of the Resistance, so it was just the Falcon ride, and it's like now I want to go back, so I'm like I feel like I was a little let down. Now I feel like I'll enjoy it more.
Oh, nice. So let me know if this is true, because like I read I listened to Black Stars on audio. Is it true if you go up to anybody and you say Bright Suns, they will reply back to you in the same thing? Because I believe it's Bright Suns and May the Spires keep you. Is that what it is?
I've heard that, but I haven't seen anyone try it.
Yeah,
because if you go up to the cast members there and you ask them about certain little things, they'll respond, because each one of them has their own character they created.
Yeah.
That's so
So
cool.
they have
That's so cool.
their
I'm
own story and everything. Like,
It's in Orlando.
I wasn't playing a whole lot of when I went last year. Alone, I spent $100 because they were done with the whole drink limit because they used to be 2 drinks. I was just like, get as much as you want.
Just
I ended up spending like $100 on that.
They have buses, boats, they have taxis, all sorts of things to get you out of that park. Spend all the money you like.
Oh, that's crazy. Because like that, I think that's what I'm the most excited for. Yeah, I want to I want to pilot the Falcon. I want to build my own lightsaber. But I think I want to go for the immersive experience of talking just to cast members, like, oh, bright suns, may the spires keep you, or may the force be with you. I want that experience of them just talking back to me in their character, and like, because from what I hear, it's like just the most submersive experience that you'll ever have.
Yep.
Just because,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have the 3D print files for the lightsaber parts that they have there.
Oh,
Disney World.
good for you.
But no, I guess I don't know if I would spend another $200 to get a lightsaber at Savi's.
Bullshit, you wouldn't.
Here's the thing: those lightsabers aren't the best as far as
They're not.
That's what I've heard.
The legacy sabers, those are like that's worth the money.
Yeah,
I printed once.
I mean,
with
the
wood.
experience was awesome, $200, but it's not to the point. They have like 8 designs. I'm not going to spend $1,600 on Savi's lightsabers when they aren't going to work, in a year.
Right.
It would be like a prop type thing to set it up.
Can't hear you with that pity dick in your mouth.
But no, yeah, it's very expensive though.
Yeah, I have a couple of lightsabers that I bought over the years, so I'm good.
Right.
Oh,
But
good.
no, the legacy sabers though, like the quality there, and for the price, because it's like $100 to $140 to buy them. Those are about as good or better than what you can get at Ultra Sabers and stuff as far as the quality goes. The only bad thing is you can't take the kyber crystal out like you can with the Savi's ones.
Yeah,
but so it's really cool.
Yeah, I might get one of those like Chinese ones that like screw together. You can make a double bladed one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I bought a couple from like places like Ultra Saber and Custom Saber Shop, and I've yet to put together my Obi-Wan one. I've got the Legacy Anakin Skywalker one that I used in my opening, in my showdown match. That's the one I bought, and it was close to like $120. But you had to put all the pieces together, put my own LED inside of it. I don't put sound effects in it because I use them for props. So so that's what I have, and I have this other one.
It'd be annoying
to hit them without damaging.
Yeah, and I have this one. Yeah, no, they're completely combat ready. So like, I have stuff like these too. So
I need to fight with mine. What were you gonna say, Aaron? I'm sorry.
I didn't have anything, but I was gonna say, so to go back to the Schmoedown, out of who is left in the tournament, who excites you the most to potentially face?
I mean, Ace is kind of the wild card because he's been running through it really well. Obviously, I'm playing Molly next. I'm really excited to play Molly. We've been chatting back and forth and just getting excited because me and Alex have been talking. I've been talking to Molly for quite some time now. But yeah, I would like to see Molly again. Not Molly, Laura again, just to get that. Just because we're as of right now, from the way I look at it, we're 1-1. Because I eliminated her in Chicago. She beat me in my number 1 contender match back last year. So I would like to even that score out a bit. But I've said it before on many shows that I don't care who I face. Is just the ultimate goal is just to win the tournament. So the pool that is left right now, it's anyone I hate to play would be great to play because we're all great competitors because that's what the way the division is now. The competition is like a razor thin. So.
I was going to say, because you brought it up, I feel like in terms of the Schmoedown in general, I can't think of anyone who took a bigger step up from match 1 to match 2 than Ace. I mean, people it seemed like if you look at the fan pages and stuff after what happened against Robert, I mean, he got decimated for, a nice word. people were just kind of like, no one, at least I didn't. It feels like a lot of people didn't even know who Josh was, and they were just like, oh yeah, he's gonna win it, right? Because like Ace is just here. But no, he's good. Like he's putting the effort in, and he's really, really good.
Yeah, and it's just the thing. It's just the difference in divisions. Maybe because he said it before, he knows Star Wars better than any of the properties in the Inner Geekdom. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely something that I've seen just studying his gameplay is that he does pay attention to. Maybe I missed this, and this, so I got to focus on this, and this for the next match. So he definitely starts to somebody that puts in the work to make that improvement and to go forward with and get that win. And because they said as much he's the first Star Wars division player to go 2-0 in the division. And so and Carlos said as much a win in this division it can count for four wins. How tight the competition is. So
I was gonna say even the other day, because I don't remember the last time I heard or his record read out loud, but when that match against Ken happened, and it's like they're talking like former champion, former this with a record of 1-3, and I'm like, holy shit, yeah, he does. Yeah. He has lost here. It's like, damn.
Yeah, because that's the way the division is. That before this tournament, it was you get one win, go for the title. That's the way it was, and now with this tournament, you have to prove yourself by going through 3-4 people. So, I mean, I really hope that this becomes a yearly thing, just because, I mean, granted, we might run out of questions and have to, bring in more things. But
they're reusing for the regular release this year anyways. So.
Yeah, but if this was something that happened every year, it'd be great for the division, be great for the Schmoedown, because this the digital play has been fantastic. I mean, there's nothing, the matches are just as exciting. And people are just as invested in these matches, even if it's digital. So, you do lose that little bit of game management of your manager has to be seen on screen, and your tactics gets displayed out for the rest of the world to see.
Right, that's the only downside.
Yeah, and the factor of the audience isn't there, but the pressure is still there because you're still in your head like, oh yeah, there's people watching me. This counts for something. But for the most part, the digital matches work great. So I would love to see this done every year.
Yeah. The thing that's the funniest about the digital matches is
all the hands.
Sometimes the competitors some people will fold their hands and other people will just be like, I'm here, I'm here.
Yeah, and that's all just to make sure nobody's cheating. I don't think anybody would ever cheat. I mean,
there's no natural way to try and just have them there.
Yeah, and
I was watching the other day. He was like, "What is he doing? Is he getting shot?"
Yeah, and I'm lucky enough to have my desk in front of me, so I can just have my hands folded in front of my mic like this.
That's how I am. My hands are always seen, so you don't know what I'm. Know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm even messing around with the fact of changing my focal length on my camera, and so it's seen up to my desk, so there's nothing in front of me. But to the point of because this was a big contention for Molly's last match. Oh, she was cheating. It's why would she cheat? Yeah, because Alex hives her at the very end of the match, and they confirm that he just ran into the room, high-fived her, and then peaced out. But what do you get from cheating? I don't get why it would be a thing of contention, because say you do get all the way to the title match, now you're going to embarrass yourself to no end, because now you don't have that sheet in front of you to cheat off, and you're just going to get demolished.
People thought that Alex was helping her cheat. That's what that happened.
Yes, that's what happened. People thought that she was feeding her answers. It's no, I know them. They won't
serve anyone.
Yeah, it doesn't serve the game. It doesn't serve her. It doesn't serve. And then and Alex had I talked to Alex before. It's I ran into the room. I was excited that my wife won. So I don't fault him for that.
Because that wouldn't. I mean, the last time, because what would happen is let's say that was true for whatever reason, and she was winning because he was feeding her the answers. Then if she won the tournament because of him, let's say, and she gets into the final, then we could possibly have what ended up happening when he played, I forget the guy's name, but the guy from Funhouse.
Yeah.
Bruce, was that it?
Yeah,
where it was it was 25-3, and it's you could tell, even if you had never watch the Schmoedown, you could tell this was a guy who just got chucked in so they could have a match. And it's that happened, and then all of a sudden you had the Facebook pages lighting up with this isn't a legitimate league, this isn't a real title. That would serve to help absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
Look, I would have volunteered to be embarrassed. Just do it. I mean, that's happened all my life, so bring it on.
And from what I hear, it was like an overnight decision that had to be made because Whitwer just couldn't make it that day. So
too busy being Agent Liberty on Supergirl.
Right.
I'm the Arrowverse trivia champion in our little league.
He's just like, okay, whatever.
Good for you.
So, because obviously there's gonna be more Star Wars movies. Who is one director you would love to see kind of step into it other than Spielberg? Because Spielberg's been thrown in there a lot ever since Jedi. But who's some
At this
other
point,
guys
you shouldn't make one.
girls?
Oh God, I'm thinking. I had an answer for this. I just can't. The director just fell out of my head for some reason. I really like Edgar Wright's work. But I don't think his style totally fits Star Wars.
Right.
The Russo brothers would be. Oh my God, I would love to have the Russo brothers take over Star Wars. That'd be fantastic. I mean, there's a couple other ones. As long as they get the tone that they're going for, and they and make sure that it fits the world, because I want to start seeing genre movies pop up in Star Wars, much like they're doing with the MCU.
Yeah.
Right.
A horror Star Wars would be fantastic. Would love to see that. Would love to see that.
Yeah.
A buddy cop. We almost get that with Solo, with a buddy cop film. I would love to see. I would like to see that.
Criminals.
Yeah.
But still, it's the type of movie.
Yeah, maybe like a murder mystery almost or something. But yeah, so more so than directors, I just want to see more different types of genres, because right now all we get is one genre of Star Wars, and it's the Star Wars genre. Yeah. I want to see more
about
being explored. Yeah. But yeah, I think my answer would probably be the Russo brothers. I think that was the answer that fell on my head. Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Steven Spielberg did already direct a Star Wars movie. It's called Revenge of the Sith, and that's why it's the best.
It's not confirmed. It's not confirmed.
It's confirmed by Hayden Christensen's acting.
I think it was something like Lucas had a director in his back pocket, and he would blame a lot of stuff on him. It's like, oh yeah, the director wants this right now, because there's that famous, because I watched if you watch the behind the scenes of it for the DVD extras, it's like that one scene where the thing pops off on Mustafar. He blamed that on the director. He's like, yeah, the director he thought it'd be cool if it falls into the lava pit, and it's like, oh my God, George, what are you doing to us? Like, it's not me, it's the director.
Right. No, the guy I think that's gonna step in.
That guy, yeah.
A guy I think that's gonna eventually direct a Star Wars movie. They might as well announce it. I think it's gonna be Jon Favreau. I mean, he's already pretty much in the Disney family. Mm-hmm. He's working in Lucasfilm with Mandalorian, so it wouldn't surprise me if he directs, some Star Wars movie in the future. Yeah, and obviously he cares about Star Wars.
And I'm waiting for Filoni's live action movie debut, because that's what they're grooming him for. It's just like, oh, let's get your feet wet with the show, and then once you get a couple under your belt, then we'll give you a movie, maybe an Ahsoka movie. But yeah,
I would say keeping on the same track as you guys. Someone I would like to see. I don't know what it could possibly be, but someone I would like to see. Would be Rick Famuyiwa, because to me personally, my favorite episode of The Mandalorian was the 6th one, and what I liked about it was it's even though it's within only an 8-episode show, it's its own story. It's one shot. It's got even a little bit of a different, interesting feel. It's got interesting characters. It's its own little story within this story, and also the shots, like them walking through the hallway with the blinking red and white strobe light, and just the whole look of it. Watching that was like watching this little short film within Star Wars, and I was like, I would love to see him go on and do something further, because I think that could be the unique taste that it needs to have.
Are you sure your favorite episode isn't the 4th episode with the Dollar Tree version of Han Solo?
That's the 5th one.
That was the 5th episode.
that was the 4th. That was after Deborah Tao's.
No, that was the 5th episode. Deborah Tao's episode was the 3rd episode. Bryce Dallas Howard was the 4th episode.
The 4th episode.
Okay. Well,
I know too much about it.
The 4th episode was when Bryce Dallas Howard tried to remake Magnificent 7 in 30 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, The Widow is essentially the same. But I liked that episode too. The ATST looked really cool in it. Gina Carano's great. There's nothing in The Mandalorian that I hate. I'm just not with everybody else where it's like, oh my God, it's the best Star Wars ever. There's nothing I hate in it, but it's not It's not
And
last
actually,
four.
to Matt's point, that episode is exactly, not that I don't think he could get there, but that episode is exactly why I don't think Filoni's ready for a movie quite yet. I think he could work really well in like a producerial role, like if he became like a Kevin Feige of this, because he's someone that is so tuned into making everything sort of connect. But like the first episode of the series is good, but that fifth episode is directed by someone where it's only his second live action directorial effort ever. And I feel like everyone who's watched the show has clearly stated that is the worst one of the 8.
And they wasted Min Na. Like, why do you bring Min Na in just to kill her like 5 minutes after you show her?
I don't think she's dead. she's definitely alive, and I think she's confirmed for the next season too. So
really, that really makes me feel better because I was really confused about that. Why are they bringing this amazing actress in who has an amazing physical presence just to have her have one fight and then die in the worst episode of the series? Like that made me mad.
Because she couldn't be the lead, they owed Bobby Cannavale a favor, so they chucked his kid in an episode.
They did, yeah, absolutely. And Bobby Cannavale is going to show up in the next season to seek revenge against the Mandalorian. I would love that. I was literally talking about that yesterday.
I do think though, if Filoni directed like the 7th episode, I think he would have had a better, I guess, reaction to his 2nd episode, because that 5th episode was probably the only filler episode. It's like you didn't really need that episode in there. It was just like, okay, we'll go here. Now let's leave. It kind of...
It might be, but being dead center of a series makes it feel like dead weight till that setup pays off.
Yeah. I think he would have done a better job with any other episode. But
possibly.
What I heard was originally they were going to show... they were going to reveal who were the feet at the end of that episode in last season. And then they decided, okay, we're just going to push that to next season. I think the thing about Filoni, though, is he's learning.
Yes, for sure.
Even though that 5th episode was worse, he's learning. Like, one of the things he said was that in animation, you don't need to worry about lighting. And that's one of the things that was tough for him directing live action. Is that lighting, you don't have to worry about the sun. You don't have to worry about the lights flickering in and lens flares and stuff like that. So he's learning. And I think in 2-3 years from now, he'll be ready.
Yeah. And I would say, like, in total, I feel like most people would say, I believe his name is Jake Cannavale. I would say most people would say he is the worst part of that episode. And I think that's just a simple matter of you have an inexperienced director who may not be used to having to pull performances out of actors mixed with an inexperienced actor who just doesn't have a lot of experience in and of himself. So I just think it was a bad combo. But like you said, like Ming-Na Wen's in there for a minute. She was fine. Whichever person was in the Mandalorian suit, the physical acting was all there. Pedro Pascal's voice was like, the acting there was fine. It was just, you have even, I didn't think it necessarily fit, but Amy Sedaris wasn't a bad performance. It was really odd to fit in. Yeah. She's just a weird pick to be in that show to begin with.
References were pretty bad. I thought the references were pretty,
And am I the only one that liked Tusken Raider sign language?
No, I love that. I
really love that.
Yeah. It's an interesting new little thing.
To them, you're the trespasser. Like, to them, you're the outsider. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But now, also, is it whatever Carnival, whatever, however you say his last name? Yeah, him. He's not making good decisions offset too when he's talking trash about Star Wars. When you're not really much involved. He was talking crap about like The Last Jedi and some of the other movies, which
so did Mark Hamill. But if you wanna, he's a major part of what he talked crap about.
Yeah, but Mark Hamill's established. He's not established yet. So I mean, I would have waited to do that until after he's getting more roles and he has a decent portfolio rather than being in one episode of The Mandalorian. If that's what he wants to do, maybe he doesn't want to do it. So, I don't know.
He looked cool. Like, I love that vest. I want that vest.
I mean, vests are a big point of Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
We really are.
Leather vest. I liked it.
More cloaks.
Cloaks, yes.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know.
What?
We'll see. I know I said this a week or two ago. I really hope season 2 of The Mandalorian doesn't almost focus too much on the Clone Wars stuff they're bringing in. I mean, that's all cool, but like everybody's been saying, what made The Mandalorian as good as it was how different and just kind of in its own world it is. So I'm kind of worried, and I'm not like convinced that it's going to focus too much on it, but I'm a little worried that they're going to do too much to Clone Wars in that. But we'll see, I guess.
I feel like a lot of those Clone Wars announcements are probably going to be confined to just 1 or 2 episodes, because I remember like when the series was initially announced, there was like a slate of actors that were announced to have been a part of the series, and obviously Pedro Pascal's in every episode, but like some of the actors were a part of that initial list that were announced. Like if you went on like IMDb or Wikipedia at the time, they were like listed as like main characters, where someone like Carl's Weathers, who was in like 3 or 4 episodes, but then someone who was also announced initially was Bill Burr, who was in 1 episode. I feel like just because they have like Rosario Dawson appearing as Ahsoka, or they're bringing Tamara Morrison back as whichever character, I feel like that's just going to be for 1 or 2 episodes, probably Filoni's episodes.
Predominantly voiced too.
Right. I actually have a feeling we're going to see Bill Burr return at some point.
Oh, I would love it.
He's confirmed for coming back for season 2.
Is that okay?
Sign me up.
Because they left them alive on purpose. This show wasn't doing anything unplanned.
Right, but I don't know. I trust Filoni isn't going to focus too much on it. I trust that he's going to focus on The Mandalorian. I trust Favreau. But Filoni does love him Ahsoka, and he does love the Clone Wars.
If Filoni wasn't involved in the show, I'd be worried. But since what I've found with Filoni stuff is he connects things so well and so seamlessly, like different with connections with Resistance to Clone Wars to Rebels to the original trilogy, the way he connects things is brilliant. And if it was anybody else but Filoni doing it, I'd be like, oh, why we just so we can bring these characters in. But like I think there is a point to having these characters come in because we want to see them in this era of Star Wars, because like I said, this is an era of Star Wars where I like seeing post Jedi stuff. So and to bring these characters into that era, I'd be like, yes, give me that. I trust wholeheartedly in Filoni.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
I think the Ahsoka stuff is like you said, it's going to be 1 episode, and I really think it's going to be more of a backdoor pilot. Because more and more like this traction is heating up that they're going to continue Rebels as a live action thing with Ahsoka and Sabine, maybe Ezra. So that's what I think it really is going to be. It's going to be 1 or 2 episodes, and it's kind of going to be a backdoor pilot situation where here's Ahsoka, here's Rex, here's Sabine possibly, because Sabine, you would just have to cast a double and then just do the voice of the actress if she's keeping her helmet on. Same with Boba Fett. Like Boba Fett, you just need to use his voice, but Rex, I honestly think he is going to play Rex. Like we're going to physically see him as Rex, but that Boba Fett's not going to take his helmet off, and we're going to have his voice for Boba Fett as well.
Right. I don't know. It feels like it's going to be the Iron Man 2 of Star Wars, but good.
Well, John Favreau is here as well.
Yeah, that was
and the dark side.
Come on, guys. Sequel thing.
And on that bad.
No, but I also feel like it'll, no matter what they decide to do with the Clone Wars characters, it'll be handled tastefully, because in no way do I not see those episodes being directed by Filoni. Like you wouldn't just bring his his babies. Like he created these characters. You don't just bring them in and then go, hey, Robert Rodriguez, take care of this episode for me, will you?
Yeah.
Like I just don't see that happening.
That's true.
So I think a Robert Rodriguez episode of Mandalorian would just be awesome. I
feel like that's the one Oliphant's going to be
in his style, though, like his kind of grindhouse, gritty,
like noir style. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to see that. I don't want to see Disney's version.
He has directed Rosario before.
Yeah, true.
So he could be doing the Ahsoka episode for all we know.
Maybe.
And Dave Filoni, that's one of the things scenes, even if he's not directing, he is involved in every single step of this process. That's one of the things you'll see on Disney Gallery.
He's in every single table. Like, he's in the actor table. He's in the producer table. He's in the,
it's equal. It's him and Favreau. Favreau's the big name that they need to like sell the show, to like sell to the executives. But Filoni is the guy that's mainly, they've got two hands on the wheel. So like Filoni's hands on the wheel, Favreau's hands on the wheel, and they have like, they're moving forward with a vision that they really started back in Clone Wars when he played Pre-Vizsla.
NASCAR reference for the night?
I'm sorry?
I said, was that your NASCAR reference for the night?
Did I say NASCAR? Oh no, I wasn't even thinking about NASCAR. I was thinking about Star Wars, man.
But yeah, I would like to see kind of a grittier with Ahsoka, especially if Robert Rodriguez is going to do it, kind of like the grittier kind of, and just make it a one and done. Because what I really liked about Mandalorian to begin with is there was no Force, there was no Jedi, and I want to see something in the Star Wars universe, but not tied to that. And that's what worries me about them bringing Ahsoka and so forth, that it's going to go more, I don't want to say it like this, but Skywalker Saga-esque. I want to see it just, what I liked about the first season, it's in a different part of the galaxy. Right. Yes, the child has the Force. We all can agree to that. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't a major key component. This was Mando's story, pretty much.
Mm. Yeah.
And that's what worries me about what's coming up.
We got the Darksaber and the Mandalorian, so we kind of got a lightsaber.
Yeah. And I think we're going to see Sabine. If we see Sabine, she had Ezra's green lightsaber last time we saw her. Yeah. And Ahsoka has her 2 white lightsabers, as far as I know. So we're going to see lightsaber fights. Moff Gideon, the actor that plays Moff Gideon, said that we're going to see some of the most epic lightsaber fights that we've ever had in Star Wars. So we're getting lightsabers. Like, it's happening. Maybe not Force wielders using lightsabers, but lightsabers for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think Yoda's using it.
I think.
Please don't. Tiny lightsaber.
Please don't.
I know. I'm over the whole entire Baby Yoda fad. Like, I like Baby Yoda. It's cute. It's a cool character on the show, but it's not the second coming of Anakin Skywalker. I mean,
wow.
I don't think anyone said that, but I just mean the moment you hand that thing a lightsaber, it goes from being a puppet to CGI, and I think it's going to lose a lot of charm if you do that. Mm-hmm. No matter what the scenario is, because even when he did the Force, it was the little puppet hand sticking up, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I'm already over it. Like, I'm just over Baby Yoda. And that might be like the pop culture, like all the memes and stuff that like even people that don't even watch the show know who Baby Yoda is. It's just one of those things where it's like, I kind of hope that he does hand Baby Yoda off to his people so that we can get the show that we were advertised.
It's the Baby Yoda show.
Come this fall, when they actually have the toys ready for the show, you will change your mind. When you're
kill Baby Yoda. That's what I said.
No.
Jeez.
And there we go.
You know what kind of legal disclaimer you would need for killing a child? It's literally called The Child.
They did it on first episode of Legends of Tomorrow. They just kill Rip Hunter's kid, and then the show just went goofy after that, and I hate it now. But that's a difference.
Legends of Tomorrow.
It's like at the end of, in the middle of the last episode, where the two guys are just beating the child. It's like, I can't believe you're going to do that. He's in that bag and he just punches it. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are dead. You guys are so gonna die.
That was Taika Waititi getting his Taika Waititi-ness out in the first 5 minutes of the episode. He was just like, I need to do something.
That's what I was worried about.
Let me hit a child. I blew up a World of Warcraft jokes. Now I'll hit a child.
Now I'm going to be questioning what I should do when I see Jason Sudeikis at some point. Whenever I see him, be like, should I, hit him, or should I just be like, it's fine, it was a show?
Do we know he was in the armor, or was it just his voice?
Yeah, it was Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, him and Adam Pally were both there. They were both there.
Oh, wow. Well, I think he's dead.
And he's dead.
Oh yeah, you. One of these days, we're gonna get sued by Paul and Adam for stealing that.
No, we're not.
We're gonna give
I love it.
Yeah, we've had Paul and Adam on here a few times. And
Yeah.
Oh, Paul literally took the term "After Dark Takeover" to a new level. He literally ran the show.
Wow.
It's great.
So, guys, Andrew said he had to kind of check out in an hour. Any little bit that you guys want to bring up real quick for him?
Wait, sorry, there was a chair moving upstairs. I didn't quite catch that.
Here's a quick one, Schmoedown related. Is there a league you would be interested in getting into outside of Star Wars, or is this just where your lane stays?
Right now, it's where I need to stay because there's no chance I'm getting to any other division but this one. I say it all the time on my show that like if I was to enter like the singles or team division, I'd get smoked. The only way I enter a teams division is if I get paired with Dan Merle, so he can just carry me through all the matches. Because like, I mean, I love movies. It's just my head isn't wired to grab from like that wide range of movies. Like just my brain is wired for Star Wars because I love Star Wars. I've loved Star Wars, since I can walk, basically. Right. But I do have a little bit of interest jumping into the IG when the time is right. But right now the time isn't right, and I would need a group behind me and around me to help me get into IG. But yeah, I do have a little bit of interest in IG. It's just not right immediately right now, but.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, the good news for you is if Damro being your teammate is all it would take, you guys are one more fourth round Roka from that. So just put in a word. And listen, if anything I could say to get Roka to realize the show exists, that would be it. I bet you that'll be it. He just turned his head in shock because somebody said it.
I don't think the fourth rounder comments bother him as much anymore, but yeah.
I'd hope not. I think
he's just happy that people are acknowledging him during the quarantine. Like, I think that's what it is. It's like, hey, somebody still loves me. Yay! I still love you, Roka.
All right, guys. Anybody else real quick? Anything last little bit? Real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can ask another Schmoedown related question. So obviously, it's all been movies and whatnot. How would you feel if they decide to bring in the comics, books, and video games into it?
If Damon didn't seem unbeatable now, you introduced the rest of this in there, you might as well let him keep the belt because it's already in his head.
I say no to comics and books.
Yeah, if anything, TV would probably have, at the very most, maybe. Because if you put Clone Wars in there, there's there's so many episodes of Clone Wars, and you have to there's a lot of Clone Wars.
Keep it mainstream.
So I would say Mandalorian would probably be the next thing that you would have to put into the division, or I don't know because
that's
the second you do that, it makes it. Yeah, it's the second you do that, it makes it 10 times harder to get the belt from Alex at the moment because right now, like you guys said, he seems unbeatable. But I say to everybody, it's like you get put in the rest of the canon. It's like he already knows he finally got his Dragon Con win. From what my understanding, it's like 10 times harder than the Schmoedown to win. It's just like I don't see it happening. If it does happen, you maybe inject one TV show. You don't go, all right, here you go, guys. Here's all the canon you got to study. It's like Jesus, Harloff. Wow. So yeah, I think if it does happen like that, it'll be just maybe one of the shows and not all of them.
Right. Because there's 140 something episodes of Clone Wars.
Yeah,
so it's like
you have to watch
it's wild.
Yeah.
The droid thing. There's a legion of droids in one episode, led by little guy played by Steven. It's the worst.
You'd have to hire a whole new team of question writers. I hardly imagine Chris and whoever else is helping him are reading and watching everything.
I imagine
Dave Filoni to write questions. There you go.
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right. Last thing before you go. Cheez-Its or Cheese Nips?
Oh.
It's an important question that needs to be asked. I think they're two distinctly different crackers for different moods.
I mean, I'm a white cheddar Cheez-It guy, so yeah.
Civilized.
Yep.
Nice. I like that. That would go well with a fine wine. I always say that Cheez-Its go better with wine, Cheese Nips go better with milk because Cheese Nips have
a nice boxed wine.
Yeah, literally. It's great. I got this $3 bottle of wine at Walmart. I love it. It's the best.
I was going
to answer everybody's question, there is 133 episodes of Clone Wars. Just throwing that out.
God, I'd take I have no time for anything right now. If they introduce that to the Schmoedown, I'm like, all right, I guess I don't have any time for anything else then.
I was going to say,
I have quit my job now.
I was going to say, if you have just another minute, can I shoot one more quick one out there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because I asked the same question to Adam Witt the other week when he was on, so I'm curious, because on all the different Schmoedown-related podcasts, they talk about, like, the actual faction interaction, because you guys are a team, you know, your wins help them out. What is it, without giving too much away, obviously, because you don't want to say anything that could aid someone else, what's that interaction like with you guys? Like, how close really is it for you?
It's fantastic. It's like I never would have imagined that I would be speaking to, you know, John Roca, Dan Merle, and Mark Riley in a DM like on a weekly basis. Like it's unreal to me. Just as because you know, like again, I am a competitor, but it's in such a like a small division that it almost doesn't matter. But I'm like even now that I'm in the Schmoedown, I'm still a fan. I still love the storylines. I still watch as a fan. I react as a fan. I have my own podcast that I talk about it on a weekly basis with my wife. But like it's surreal in a way that I get to talk to these legends of the games that I've been like following for years. And people like me and Craig, the Barbarian, have our own little private DM that we help each other out with study tactics. I certainly help them out with Star Wars. But yeah, it's just surreal, and it's fantastic that we're all, you know, just helping each other out and constantly. Like Roka is probably one of the people that has like inspirational things of the week. It's like here's the and he writes novels. Oh my god, it's like here's the inspirational novel of the week, and it's just long. I have to keep scrolling. It's like Jesus, Roka.
Yeah, literally. Like I was having a conversation with him online. And literally, I asked him about coming in and joining us one of these days, and he said yes. But then he like it went from like something that could be I'll get back to you on when I can to like this whole mountain. I'm like, I promise.
He's a man of the people. He likes talking.
And then yes, we've had your manager on a couple of times. That was.
He's great.
Yeah, Gucci doesn't get enough credit for what he does. I say it like all the time. If you like, people managers talk all the time. They say, "Oh, this competitor does this much. I do work this." Everything that Gucci says, it is like.
Yeah.
You watch my match, and he talks about what we worked on. It's 100% true what we worked on.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like he's brilliant because everything that he does on camera, like you see him, it's tactical. Like it's strategy. You underestimate him because of how he acts, but that guy's like the smartest guy. I was shocked at how like smart he was, like what he was talking about, the things that he got into when he came on here. I was utterly like pleasantly surprised. By Gucci.
Yeah. He knows more about the game than people think he does.
Yeah, because it's like people forget that just because he's playing some kind of weirdo moron, he's been around since before this began. He was with them when they were creating it, so obviously he's going to know a lot.
And I have a question for him next time we see him. I want to know where he came up. Personally, we were rewatching Teen Wolf the other day, and the coach of Teen Wolf, his real name in the movie is Bobby Finstock.
I think that's where he said
that's where they got
it from. He
said that's where they got it from.
Personal vendetta against Bobby Finstock.
I want to hear his explanation of how he built this character around an 80s throwaway name. No. So we were watching it and came across the screen and went, huh. Like, well.
They used to talk about that on the old Schmoes show. Like they'd have an intro with Darth Vader's music, and it's like they'd play a clip from Teen Wolf, and I didn't know what it was.
It's a great movie. It's on Amazon.
Fox.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Is there a movie your go-to, not Star Wars movie? Now, the last question before you can take off.
Yeah.
What's your go-to movie when you and your wife are just kind of hanging out at home, non-Star Wars? What's your go-to movie?
Well, right now it revolves around what my daughter likes to watch.
Frozen?
No. It's actually Moana. So
Good choice. Good choice.
yeah, it's very important to us that
Better
she
than
sees-
Frozen.
Yes, thank you,
If Alan
thank
was
you.
here, he would agree.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, but that's the thing because it's very important to us that she sees characters that she can see herself in. You know, she's a little girl of color, so having a female protagonist of color helps her us out, and it's just I love Moana. It's such a great movie.
It's just a good movie.
Oh, it's such a good movie. I love it.
I have my son's a child of color too, so yeah, I definitely appreciate movies where they have, you know, because look at me, I'm, you know, paper white, and you look at him after the summer here in Arizona, and he is dark skinned, and so it's really appreciative.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a joke real quick. He's held more belts in Schmoedown than
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He stole Dan's belt twice and Alex's once. He looked at me once and he's like, somebody said it. We were on stream and he went, and he has this grin. Like, we have a couple of pictures from it, and that's one of them that somebody screenshotted of him with your faction holding up Dan's belt, and it's like,
that's awesome.
I'm like, well. So he pressured me. He was sitting here poking me like, Dad, you have to say that. I'm like, I don't want to. I'd like him to come back. So, guys, he's been over in Adam or Andrew. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Where can people find you online?
So you can find me on Twitter and Twitch, even though I haven't been twitching or been on Twitch for a couple of weeks now. You can find me there at Andrew Dimalanta, Dimalanta. We do weekly Schmoedown, Beyond the Schmoedown on Mondays, Going Rogue on Fridays on mine and my wife's YouTube channel, Andrew and Nikki, and also on Patreon at the same address, Andrew and Nikki.
Awesome. We'll put links to those in our description. Thank you for taking your hour with us.
Yeah, thank you.
We can't wait to see where you go next. Maybe we'll have to bring you back to discuss round 3.
Oh, yeah, that's the plan.
All right. Well,
good luck, man.
Thank you.
Good luck.
That was Andrew, guys. Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
From Orlando.
So, all right. All right. Yeah, Andrew, when you're done, go ahead and just hop out. We've got some more show to
All right. I was like waiting for the show to end, so yeah.
Sorry,
Take you out.
All right, thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
Wow.
We're just sitting there.
I think you would have stayed longer, I think, but you're like, get out of here.
Little does he know, this is the part of the show where it goes off the rails and we go somewhere really dark.
Well,
yeah, uncivilized behavior.
But I literally I titled last week's episode "Uncivilized Behavior."
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was that or back of a Burger King, either one. Like,
I actually had to. My son goes back and watches the end of the show.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I cut it off like right there.
Oh my god!
You're like, yeah, you're not ready yet.
You couldn't get worse.
I'll put it back on for you later. And he went out to play, and I grabbed the remote and turned it off. My mom was laughing her ass off.
That was good.
Oh god, that was great. So I guess if anybody really wants to join us, DM one of the panelists, preferably not me, because
don't DM me because it's on my phone and I'm not going to respond.
Yeah, me. Awesome.
Yeah, just let us know. We can bring anybody on because now it's really time just
hang out.
This is where it goes off the rails.
Just drop the link in the comment section.
We had a video earlier this week, and
we did last week.
Just, you know what? Go to last week's video, see if there's any comments, and just respond to their comments with the link.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I would do.
Comments, and
I just
knows this.
I just dropped it in. Oh no! If that was a comment, come on, Subrath would have already said something.
So speaking of comments, because there's somebody who commented. I'm assuming Subrath comments on the channel.
Witcher 2.
So no, it wasn't Witcher 2. It was
last week.
No, it was the trailer reaction to the Snyder Cut thing. That whatever.
I was right.
So somebody goes in comments. Horrible grammar. First off, like learn how to spell, simple English language. But whatever. I don't know. You might not be that fluent in English, so forgive me if that's the case. They comment, well, it's funny because I've never seen you guys once, and now you're acting like you care about the Snyder Cut. And
go back and watch their videos.
Go back to the last month or two, because Super Rats, comedy is like, we'll be talking about tonight, don't worry, yada yada yada. And I was just like,
oh, I pulled it up. Can I read it as it's written?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Try to read some of those.
Okay, so here we go. So the comment says,
wait. Aaron, share your screen so I can.
Yes.
So I'll pull it up.
Yeah, I'm personally offended by this. I need to find this person and
okay.
Did you watch
him
the
with
edit,
the
Nikki?
Batman versus Superman Blu-ray.
Did you watch the edit, Nikki? When you
I don't
laughed
watch
at your
anything.
Wonder joke, I did a little edit where I zoomed in
Okay,
and slowed
alright.
it down.
Oh, that sounds
Alright,
great.
hold on.
I gotta watch
It was
that
wonderful.
now.
So tell me when
That
it's
was the only actual edit I did, though.
Yeah, hold on. I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, so it says,
That wasn't even a
strange I've been a part of this movement for years since day number 1, yet I, lowercase, have never capitalized, seen your channel or heard you clamoring for anything.
And see,
Well, you've never
guys,
seen the channel.
this is the perfect
So, hold
example
on.
of do your research.
Wrong spelling, incorrect capitalization, incorrect capitalization. That's just not right. Incorrect capitalization, incorrect capitalization, incorrect capitalization. Honestly, that might be
Your
right, but it
response is
looks
correct.
wrong.
Sense
We've never
is the
had
wrong
a
sense.
video titled Snyder Cut before.
Yeah,
Or just
it's like
But we have the banner like almost every time.
Now, see,
like-
if he was a
Better.
proper
Better,
viewer of the channel,
Is that better?
let Aaron finish. Let Aaron finish.
if he was a proper viewer of the channel, he would know that at least twice in the 3 or 4 episodes I've been on, we've talked about it because I tear into it, and then you guys tell me to shut up.
Shut up.
It's like, I don't know. This is a perfect example of do your research before you comment, because literally the past 2 months, the Snyder Cut has been brought up where Nikki and Matt have been wanting it and said it's going to happen. And we've talked literally for what seemed like an hour just on the Snyder Cut in like 2 or 3
Doubted me.
episodes. It's
They
like,
even doubted me.
it's like, guys, I'm not going to tear into this guy. I mean, his grammar, says enough. He's like 6 years old.
I'll do it according to that comment. He doesn't watch our show.
Yeah, it's like,
What's up, Ryan?
all you gotta do is do your
Aw,
research,
nice.
and then you can comment later. Just go back to
What's happening, guys?
Literally for what seemed like just from Snyder.
Jesus, hold on, I got some audio issues.
Okay, I was
There we
saying,
go.
freaked out for a second. I was like, what's going on? But no, I
No, I
Why-
had you guys on in the background, so.
Why
That's
didn't you
very
guys
kind of you.
why didn't you comment on our
What?
Snyder
I got
Cut?
scared for a second.
Hey guys.
All right,
Hey, Chris.
but no, I mean, Snyder Cut is
Hello there.
it's something we've talked about for a while, and anybody who watched the show or seen
A
any
lot.
show in the last 2 months, they know it's been talked
You guys
about.
hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear
Oh
you.
yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yes.
It's like,
Okay, sorry, Nikki, to answer your question. I was rewatching every Harry Potter movie from the first to Deathly Hallows Part 2. I'm in the midst of Half-Blood Prince, so.
I feel really bad for you.
Why'd you
Those
feel bad
movies
for
aren't
me?
as good as people remember.
there's some good ones.
not that bad.
Half-Blood
I
Prince-
still love.
Half-Blood Prince is the best.
I didn't like Half-Blood Prince.
Really? I don't know. I
It
think
just
it's the
it
weakest.
felt slow. It felt boring. The first one, like if I watched it at my age right now, probably wouldn't like the first one all that much. But for when it came out and for who it was for, the first one's perfect for
The
kids
first two are
in the
kids.
90s. Second one,
No,
similar.
the first one's a great introduction.
Yeah.
I rewatched it. I rewatched it this morning. I think it's still a great introduction. you're slowly being introduced to the world, and you're just only learning everything from Harry's eyes. So the first one, I think, still works. I mean, sure, if you want to account for like the I don't know, the shooting techniques and maybe some of the CGI involved, it might not hold up, but I still think story-wise and visually, it's still good.
Can we all agree that Ellie Hepburn puts not as bad at Fantastic Beasts 2 was?
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Fantastic
Beasts 2 is
the second Fantastic Beasts is the only 1 out of 10 movies I'd say is actually a bad movie.
Jude Law's good.
Jude Law is really good in that.
Jude Law's good. Dude, Johnny Depp is good
Dan
in that
Fogler,
movie.
who is
It's not a good movie.
Dan Fogler, who is, yeah. I have to see Dan Fogler, who's Jacob Kowalski. He's still he's fantastic. He carries the same energy, and as much people might have against Newt Scamander's character, I actually like his approach in the first and second movie. He's just pretty much a zoologist. He has one thing, and he wants to focus on that. It's just the story tries to force him into the grand plot, which is the problem.
But here's the thing, Dad.
My problem with those movies has nothing to do with any of the actual characters. It's like the problem is the first one feels like a prologue that's definitely leading to something bigger. And it's like as a movie, it's fine. It's not terrible. I mean, that whole subplot with like John Voight and the U.S. Senator, that's unneeded. But it's not bad. The problem is the second one feels like they're trying to put a first movie and a second movie into one movie, and you're crowding this movie full of I mean, like the amount of characters that we meet in that movie is absolutely insane, and like half of them don't matter by the end of it. And it's like, what?
It's like J.K. Rowling should not be writing scripts. Like she can write books pretty well, but she shouldn't be writing movie scripts.
That's
but
why
with her comments that came out recently, I don't
fired.
think she's going to write the third one. So that's
if the third one does move forward, I think they're gonna get someone to adapt everything she wrote to make sure that you only get the bare bones of the story. Nothing she's added will be there. That's what I think they're gonna do.
I can actually tell you because they've already confirmed what they're doing. JK had, this was long before any of these like transphobic comments came out. JK had written a script, and it was after the reception of the second one. They went out and got Steve Kloves, who wrote 1 through 4 and 6, 7, part 1 and 2, to come back, and he is doing a rewrite and another pass on what she wrote. But so she's still going to get credit, but he's adding to it.
That makes me feel better for the third. That actually makes me a little more excited because part 2.
Yeah, he should have been there for the second one. He really should have been there for Crimes of Grindelwald.
Hit the two things that I read they retcon.
What's that?
See, I still haven't gotten through. I have to.
That's gonna be tough.
Go ahead.
Ezra Miller being done with their brothers thing, they need to be retconned. It's so bad, that plot twist. Like, and then I would get.
I still haven't got.
Oh, sorry. And I still love Johnny Depp. I do, but they should have kept Colin Farrell at Grindelwald.
Yes, thank you. Why would you replace a great actor with a subpar actor?
To be fair, Johnny Depp did a good job in that movie. He's not the problem.
No, he's not. It's just Colin Farrell's better.
I think Colin Farrell's more talented, but Johnny Depp's a great actor. He's at the point right now in his career where he just doesn't care and wants to have fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because if you look at Colin Farrell and Johnny Depp in their early careers, Johnny Depp, his talent was there, as you see in early like shows like Gilbert, like you see in the TV show 21 Jump Street, and you see in What's Keeping Gilbert Grape and Donnie Brasco.
Guys, Nikki, I need Nikki.
What?
I need you to have a sound ready. Nikki, I need you to have a sound ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Nah.
How could you? Oh, I've been watching you guys.
You think Moana is better than Frozen, right? I spoke correctly for you.
Oh, hell yes. Without a doubt, 100%,
Yeah.
hands down.
So I said the right thing.
No, you were talking about Johnny Depp. You're talking crap on Johnny Depp. I think Alan likes Johnny Depp.
I was in there.
Johnny Depp is fine. Colin Farrell's is better.
Oh, I was on the Johnny Depp train, but I have since jumped off that train because I haven't seen a really good performance in quite a while. So,
well, yeah, it's his latest
I have
career.
an issue of Maxim that has ever heard on it.
Be careful,
Okay,
guys. You might
let's
cut your
not
fingers
go
off.
there tonight.
Let's not go. Yeah,
Oh no, I
we
found
go
it
there.
in my basement. It's not even mine.
Let's not
It's not
go
even yours.
there.
So, Mr. Payne, good to see you, sir. What were you just
Good to see
saying
you,
though
sorry.
before I jumped in?
No, I was just saying, because if you just look at Johnny and Colin's like their filmography earlier in Johnny's career, he was bringing that passion, that talent,
Yes.
and then now later, after Pirates of the Caribbean, you clearly see that he's just picking projects to where he can just have fun or bring in only 20%. Farrell, on the other hand, I think it was obvious after Daredevil, he started picking projects to where he had to bring that fire.
He was bringing juice, exactly. He was bringing
He
a lot.
did one.
Yeah.
But listen,
He had one difference between Johnny Depp and Colin Farrell.
True.
The line
But here's
delivery
the-
of when Colin Farrell in the first Fantastic Beasts go, "Why isn't Dumbledore so interested in you?" It's so delivered wickedly by Colin Farrell that big Pomvonia by Grindelwald's not interesting character. Like,
Colin Farrell's scarier too.
Yeah, I
Like
would
Johnny
have kept Colin
Depp's doing so
Farrell.
much that he's not scary anymore.
Right. I would have kept Colin Farrell to play that role, but honestly, Johnny Depp has the talent. I would have casted Johnny Depp in a movie for something else.
Well,
Or,
see,
you know,
I just wish.
I'd ask for a better director.
plus, and also,
I just-
here's the thing: you say Colin Farrell's the better actor, but who is an Artemis Fowl?
Okay,
Who's
well,
what?
there,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
picking a
All right.
poor project doesn't.
We haven't talked about that. Exactly.
We have to talk about that. We really have to.
Can we? Okay,
That
well,
movie is garbage.
Before we move on, before we move on, I just wanted to say, with Fantastic Beasts, what I hoped and thought would happen, and it still could, is if they go back to the U.S., because if you remember, right, at the end of the movie, the whole reason Colin Farrell gets taken out of the equation is because it's revealed he's in disguise. It was Johnny Depp in disguise.
Yeah.
But I think they referenced the fact that the real version is still alive. So kind of like how in the original series, they had
Mad Eye Moody and
Brendan Gleeson was actually David. Oh God, what's his last name? Tennant.
David Tennant.
David Tennant. And then he was back in the next movie as himself now, and not as himself in disguise. I hope that if they go back to America, I'd hope that they would bring Colin Farrell back in.
But Colin Farrell had kind of said he's not interested in coming back. Honestly.
Yeah, I don't blame him. After
Give him
the
enough
second
money,
one
he'll
came
be
out.
interested. Give him a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
I think it's because he's done one movie and I think he was okay. Maybe he just wasn't happy with the filming process in the first Fantastic Beasts. I mean, personally, for me, I think David Yates should not have directed the Fantastic Beasts movies. It's mainly because J.K. Rowling liked his style.
David Yates needs to get the hell out of there. If David Yates goes through and actually directs all 5 of these, that would mean that David Yates has 10 films on his full directorial filmography, and 9 of them are Harry Potter films. The only one that wasn't was Legend of Tarzan, and at least in my opinion, that one wasn't that great. That one wasn't even very good.
Legend of Tarzan.
It was alright.
Honestly.
It was.
I don't mind that movie.
It wasn't great.
I couldn't stand it.
What's up, Nikki? You got a question?
What's the worst movie about magic? Fantastic Beasts 2 or Artemis Fowl, which has
fine. Tear into it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go right now.
The worst acting ever.
Go ahead.
Fantastic Beasts 2 is worse than Artemis Fowl.
No.
What would I rather watch?
No.
Is the question I should be asking.
Okay, I would rather watch Artemis Fowl again because Artemis Fowl is shorter by like a fucking hour. Fantastic
By an
Beasts
hour,
is
exactly
really
right.
long.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Fantastic
Let me
Beasts
ask you
2
guys,
had
have
so many
any-
illogical. The script is atrocious, and makes no sense. And they rebooted the first movie basically with it, and it was just insane. And so there were so many things going on that even though it looked pretty, I mean, David Yates, yes, he's got 9 Harry Potter films. But he's a good director. He needs new material, but he's a good director.
Get out of there.
He's gonna get burned out.
Yeah. It's just the problem with Fantastic Beasts was the script.
Honestly, depending on what the tone's gonna be for the next one, I wouldn't mind seeing Spielberg go in.
I would, that'd be great.
He fits the Harry Potter world, I think. I guess it depends what type of movie he does. I mean, he's proven he can direct any type, but if it's more, I guess, in the middle, I feel like he can do it. Any tone, I should say.
Chris, what did you?
Right
What were you
here-
gonna say, Chris?
Okay. I much I have a problem with Fantastic Beasts. Artemis Fowl does. If you read the book, the movie does crap all over the.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with them. I mean, it almost has nothing to do with them. But it's at least. I don't.
And then Judy Dench doing a horrible
more watchable.
accent.
I'll give
Oh,
it it's
what?
more watchable,
Yeah,
for sure.
Judy
It's-
Dench's
it's
voice
so-
is
It's so
atrocious.
bad.
Josh
It's
Gad,
one
like,
of
what
those
are
so
you
bad it's
doing?
Okay, I will say this: I'm not a big
Read
Josh
the
Gad
book if
fan.
anybody read.
I actually enjoyed Josh Gad. In it.
I hated Josh
I
Gad.
actually enjoyed the character.
It's like
I know.
Josh Gad doing a Jack Black impression. What are you doing?
Yes, kind of.
He
Yeah,
was the
kinda
only
was.
one who made me laugh in the movie.
I think
He was.
Was I the
over
only one who
years-
Was I the only one who noticed he was fading in and out of an accent? Like he was clearly
Yes.
trying
Oh, yeah.
to do something
Yes.
that he couldn't keep.
Yes,
Yeah.
he
He's
was
in like
definitely
the
doing that.
intro. He's like, ah! And then I pointed. I'm like, that sounds like Josh
He
Gad.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Well, a couple of times because I told the kids we were watching, I said, "Kids, you know that's the guy who is Olaf in the Frozen movies," and they go, "No, it isn't." But then he said something in the prison scene, and they went, "Oh my God, it is Olaf."
That's Josh Gad.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay,
It's like-
my turn.
Oh,
Artemis
okay.
Fowl Artemis Fowl was not a good movie. It was okay, but visually it was really good.
Some of it.
Impressive to look
Visually,
at.
some of it was good.
Some of it, yeah.
I like,
I like the
Star
costume
Wars.
designs.
Yeah, the costume designs were great. Josh Gad's being a giant dwarf just didn't work.
Gosh,
But I like the fact he's kind of the one telling the story. You know, he was kind of telling the
I
story.
think that was a product
like,
of them not getting the
don't-
budget they wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Josh Gad is proving more and more over the years that he's better, like co-hosting like panels.
He's a
Then
one
he
trick
ended up
pony.
acting.
He's a one trick pony. He's
Yeah,
got
he's
one. He's
great.
got
Like,
one mode.
Like, at
Whoa!
Star Wars
Yeah.
Celebration.
No, I agree. I
was
don't think it's great.
Because
Like,
think about it. Because think about
Like,
it. Like when you look at Josh Gad's career, whether it's as Olaf, whether it's as the Speedy Bird from the Angry Birds movie, whether you go to Artemis Fowl, whether you go to something like The Wedding Ringer, he's got one character that he's playing in all these movies.
Yeah. That's
I
true.
like the
Might have
Wedding
been
Ringer,
Wedding
damn
Ringer.
it.
It's not
I
a,
thought
no,
that might have been it.
I didn't think
No,
The Wedding Ringer was
there's
a
no
bad
movie. There's one movie he does where that energy works. I forget what it's called, but it has Mark Ruffalo, Gwyneth Paltrow. No. He's in this dramatic movie starring with Mark Ruffalo, Gwyneth Paltrow. It's all about people who are suffering from sex addiction.
Yeah, sex. Yeah, what was that movie? What was the title of that?
But
He's
he's partnered with.
I know what you're talking about.
His co-star, he's partnered with Pink throughout. Pink, I mean the singer
Yeah.
Pink throughout that movie, and he clearly carries.
he carries it hard with her. I think.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing. I think that's it.
I just looked it up.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought you were being sarcastic. I was like,
Yeah.
that's
No.
No.
I think that's the title.
Maddie, what were you gonna say?
Oh, did Maddie freeze?
He's froze.
He froze. I'm
I saw it.
frozen.
Oh, he was guys.
Speaking of Josh
He was also in Murder on the Orient Express. That
Yeah,
Honestly, I
I
don't
thought
like
he was good in that. I mean, everybody was kind of just
and his
playing
accent was
one note
better.
things, but yeah, his
That-
accent was
Thanks
way
for
better.
sharing.
For that movie.
That
I
movie
found
was,
it. The
yeah.
movie he was in was called "Thanks for Sharing."
Yeah. Aaron saved us. with that
Oh,
one.
he was also in that Ashton Kutcher Steve Jobs movie as Wozniak.
He was, yes.
Oh yeah.
That movie.
I never
wasn't
saw
good.
that.
That
I
movie.
never
was
saw that
good.
movie.
I
Really?
turned it off halfway.
I'll have to check it out. I haven't seen it.
It's okay. It's when you compare Michael Fassbender and Seth Rogen. Imagine a lighthearted version of that movie with Ashton Kutcher and Josh Gad. It's exactly what you think you're
Okay.
getting.
I think Ashton
Okay.
Kutcher could have, if he was
Yeah.
in the Steve
The other one,
Jobs
he could have
movie
been
that,
fine. Yeah.
but if he replaced Michael Fassbender, honestly, he was really good in Jobs. Isn't that what is it?
I think
Jobs.
it's just
with
called
Ashton
Jobs.
yeah.
It's just
It's just
Jobs.
called
yeah.
Jobs.
He was- honestly, if the movie was better, he probably
He
would have been
wasn't the
considered
problem.
for. Yeah, he would have been considered for awards. I thought because he
Well, I think the
he
biggest
looked just
good
like
one-
him. He really, as far as the performance goes, he really got into it. I think anybody else made that movie, and if it was a better made movie, I think he probably would have gotten nominated, at least for a Golden Globe.
The biggest
It's
problem with
weird,
Jobs,
too.
and this falls to a lot of biopics. One of the biggest problems with biopics, everybody, whenever a biopic is written, they try to get in the whole life story of the person it's about. some movies like the one that Fassbender and Rogen were in, they just focus on one specific event through different periods of time. Work. And that's when biopics can shine. Unless a biopic is willing to increase its film length, like movies like Malcolm X, Patton, if they're willing to increase the length of the movie runtime to get important moments of a figure's life in there, then it would work. But movie audiences, they have a hard time staying in a movie that's more than 2 hours long nowadays. I mean, outside of Marvel movies.
Right.
True.
I would say that with Josh Gad, he was really good in Marshall and Robert Chadwick Boseman.
That's on my watch list. I have not got a chance to watch that one yet.
And he was easily, him and Luke Evans were easily the best in the Battle of Beauty and the Beast remake.
They were, they were. I thought he was fine in it, but again, I think his version of LeFou falls under that same. You got one trick, and
you got one thing. Yeah, that's his trick.
And I love how they hyped up.
In that movie too.
LeFou. I love how they hype. They go, LeFou. He's a gay character in this movie and stuff. And all that we get for that is him looking at another guy and kind of going.
I think he dances with the guy at the end, and that's the closest.
That's the closest they got.
Because everybody's freaking out. It's like, what are they doing with Disney movies for kids?
It's Beauty and the Beast. What were they expensing?
They would a makeout scene.
I mean, what would you rather? It's like, so you're upset about a potential gay scene, but you're fine with bestiality. I mean,
right? Exactly. That's what that movie's about.
And he was good in
Beauty and the Beast.
It's a Stockholm Syndrome film.
I was going to say Beauty and the Beast is an Oscar, the original at least, is an Oscar-nominated movie that if you go one step further and show one extra scene, you're buying into Stockholm Syndrome and bestiality. Yep. I don't have a problem with
the remake supports that whole Stockholm Syndrome. If you watch the original animated movie, it's a give and take setup. It's a fucking give and take. They give more humanity to the Beast character to show you that he's conflicted of keeping Belle in his castle. Instead, in the remake, it's just more of,
he just don't care.
That's why I hated when people kept saying it's about Stockholm Syndrome. But if you read the Hans Christian Andersen, maybe that could be your argument. But if you look at the Disney animated movie, you see that they take, and it's under, the movie's under 2 hours itself. And they take extra time to give you the facial expressions of each character. They make each scene, not just the music moments, but each scene important, which is why it makes me mad when I see these remakes.
You're totally right.
They overhype and overblow certain moments. It's one of the reasons why I did not like Jungle Book. I didn't want to watch Beauty and the Beast.
Jungle Book's the one I love.
Was ridiculous.
Oh,
really?
The only one of those remakes I enjoyed was the Cinderella.
I enjoyed Aladdin.
Why
I gotta be honest.
I like Cinderella.
I don't want fun with Aladdin.
See,
I couldn't even make it through Aladdin.
So
my God.
See, for me, here's
you didn't cry.
See,
you can't make it through Aladdin. Come on, Alan.
Here's what it is for me, right?
Pete Dragon not that bad either.
I think
Will Smith
you were called
in the very first scene. In that very first scene with Will Smith. I'm sorry, but it just pained me.
Watching it the first time, I did not like initially with Will Smith in the beginning. I was like, wait, what is this? But then once you get to the end of the movie, I went, okay.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
This story makes sense because he's a genie who wants to be human, but
it makes more sense.
And I don't mind as the genie. Look, his relationship with Aladdin kind of works better than the cartoon because as much as I love Robin Williams, it's clear that the genie kind of forces himself into Aladdin's life because he rubbed the lamp. At least in the remake, the genie he's being more friendly to Aladdin. He's telling you, hey, look, I have loopholes in my wishes to where I can just screw you over and then go back in the lamp. But because I like you, I'm willing to help you out here. So I liked how they took time to develop that relationship.
I'll have to go sit through the whole thing. My biggest problem was just the songs were so. There was no life to the first couple songs. When he was running through the town. Yeah, why are we doing this? It reminded me so much of the Lion King remake, which the Lion King remake, the only scenes in the Lion King remake I enjoyed were Timon and Pumbaa. That was it. The rest of it was trash.
Agree.
Yeah, Beyonce overcooked. It's like they casted her as Nala, and then she forgot that adult Nala has no lines. Like she almost has
yeah,
no
yeah,
lines.
right, done.
He overcooks every single line in that movie.
And Donald Glover is such an expressive, emotionally charged performer. What the hell was Simba? Well, I mean, what was he doing? It was just okay. Yes, my dad.
So I was gonna say, the first scene I ever saw, because I worked at a movie theater at the time, and I remember I've done this like impression before for people. So I remember I was standing in the theater doing like a sound check, and it was during that song. And I remember when it's coming up to the part where Donald Glover, his first bit is the line in Hakuna Matata, and he like jumps out of the bushes, and Donald Glover giving it his all. This is what I saw. It means no worries for the rest of your days. That face is doing nothing, and his voice is up and down, and it's
here's
like,
the worst part. Here's the funny part. And Can You Feel the Love Tonight? When they added those extra little bits in there, like how can I tell her, and then blah 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 blah.
So
I'm like, that was a song that did not need to be, and it's hilarious. I'm the look. If people out there love the remix,
you feel the love tonight in the morning?
The animated movies, they are more expressive, more full
Way
of
more.
life than anything you ever watched from Disney now. And then there are some that are still saying the remakes are better than the originals. Where I go, I don't care if you were a kid or if you were a film student. If you were looking at this movie objectively and with as much concentration as you would for a student idol, pretty much. I don't know. I would give High School Productions a little more credit because at least they're trying. This one felt like it wasn't trying.
Right.
Yeah. Precisely.
Aladdin,
I will say,
the one thing I'll give Aladdin,
the remake that is.
Oh, sorry. Go
ahead.
Sorry.
Chris, you go first. Go for it.
Chris.
I don't think I heard you.
The remake that I think is actually better than the original, just because it had no musical number. Pete's Dragon is actually a pretty good remake.
I like Pete's Dragon a lot.
Pete's Dragon is underrated.
Yeah, I like
Pete's Dragon just makes me hate humanity. It just makes me hate humans.
Yeah, it kind of does.
I thought that and Sausage Party back to back. I enjoyed Pete's Dragon more than Sausage Party. The same.
I don't hate Dumbo. I don't hate Dumbo.
That was a fun one.
I haven't done it yet. I
haven't watched it yet.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about Dumbo. It's better than the other live-action Disney Tim Burton remake.
Yes,
absolutely. Say that what you will. Take that as you will, but it's better.
But like Tim Burton doesn't have any of the stank on it. There's one scene that seems like this is a Tim Burton movie, and then the rest of it just seems like a Disney movie.
So to me, the only thing about that Tim Burton remake that the Dumbo one that really is like Tim Burton-y to me, which sucks because I think the rest of the movie is okay. The only thing that's really terrible about it is those kids are not good actors.
Not at all.
But to me, which sucks because I love this actor, Michael Keaton was so out of place for the way that his character was written and performed. Like, to their credit, Colin Farrell, even Danny DeVito, Eva Green, they're all playing it straight. And Michael Keaton's in some other land. He's just like, woo! It's like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, I think that was the point of his character. I think that was the point. No, I mean, you look at the different worlds we have here. You have the small tent circus with Danny DeVito, Eva Green, and Colin Farrell. They're pretty much supposed to be like this. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, and it mixes back and forth. But if you just look at the small tent scene, you see Danny DeVito and the others. They're meant to be like almost down to earth, like you can imagine them here. And then you get Michael Keaton, and yes, he's meant to be like that big city life or that corporation to where you have no idea what the hell they're about, but you recognize them because of their odd or eccentric behavior.
Who plays the crows?
Nobody.
Just kidding.
You just need like a goth guy in a trench coat. We're talking about
to be fair, if you take the racism out of that scene, that song's a great song.
I don't even know.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
You are not
It's
wrong.
a great song.
Take the racism out of it.
Yeah, if you take all that shit out of it.
Speaking of racism in Disney,
Did you hear what he just said?
Uh-oh.
Wait, what?
What did you
What
say?
happened?
I don't know what you're talking about. He doesn't know. He's
Dumbo?
You don't know the OG Dumbo?
I've seen it, but when I was like
Nikki's
5.
Remember, Nikki's
Just
like
go-
12. So
Go to
in my head,
YouTube
bro,
and look
that
for
memory's all
Sing
fuzzy.
at the same.
Never heard
look for
the
that
name.
song.
Yes, but speaking of racism in Disney
Anything
movies,
surrounding that.
Only crow I know is that emo
Hold up,
guy.
hold up. Let
that
Matt
they're
talk.
trying to
Let Matt
remake.
talk.
All right, Matt, what racism you got?
so obviously we all know Song of the South, right? And Song
Yeah.
of the South was the main reason why we got Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
Great ride.
No.
So obviously with everything, changing Miss Buttersworth, Uncle Owen, whatever you want to call it.
Jemima. Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima.
Butterworth
Yeah.
is
But
beautiful.
what's the Owen?
You mean Aunt Jemima? Wait, whoa!
rice,
How
the
do you
rice.
confuse Aunt Jemima with
The
and call it
rice.
Uncle
The
Owen?
rice.
This ain't
Yeah.
Uncle Ben.
Hold on,
and it's not
hold on,
James.
hold on.
Aunt Jemima and Mrs.
I really
Butterworth.
need to hear what Matt
That's who we replace it with.
Hold on.
Uncle Ben's.
I
Uncle Ben's or
thought
whatever.
They're
of a
roommates.
I thought of a joke. It'd be terrible to say. Am I allowed to say it?
Just say
Oh God, yes, please.
How did you confuse them? Mrs. Butterworth sounds like the
If
person
it's
that might
a-
have tried to own Aunt Jemima.
Oh no, terrible.
Mrs.
No, I
Butterworth
didn't
and Aunt
confuse
Jemima together, you get this amazing lesbian couple that can just march
on that.
everywhere like Ellen and Portia. It's the
I
best
earned
thing.
it. I earned it. That's fine. I
It's
earned it.
Pride Month. Mrs. Butterworth and Aunt Jemima, they belong together, people. Don't fight it.
Someone. Okay, we scared Matt off.
Mr.
Where'd he
Payne, you
go?
scared Mr. Payne
You
away.
scared Ryan. I'm
You
sorry.
scared
You can
Ryan
kick me again.
away.
I was
Matt,
not.
one kick wasn't enough. Kick me out.
I was
Anyway.
not ready to respond to that.
So
I was
anyway.
not ready to respond to that.
an Uncle Ben or whatever.
All right, so it's Uncle Ben.
And
No,
because they're taking they're taking him off the box. They're taking off Aunt Jemima. I saw Mrs. Buttersworth was a
This
potential.
is too much
option too.
overreaction.
But anyway,
It's overstepping.
I
It's
can
overreaction. Yeah.
No, you go, go
all
ahead,
these
Matt.
things are happening and everything, and now there's
Oh Lord.
Jesus Christ.
These priests? Whoa, don't take them out.
I did.
I'm kicking you all out if you guys don't start beating.
Gone. He's completely gone.
Drop.
He's rambling. He's left the building for permanence.
I was legitimately waiting to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, he was no.
Some of the reports on why they were doing.
I was interested.
Reports. I can understand why some people want to remove the Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben thing, but at the same time, it's overreaction, people.
Yes.
I mean, God, don't Uncle. If you, I mean, oh God, I'm so pissed off. I mean, look, Uncle Ben's are very fine that brand at a grocery store as it is. So now they want to remove it because they want to remove the Uncle Ben's image on there because what? It's just it's too sensitive. It's because of a sensitive society. People grab
Replacing with Martin Sheen,
okay.
aren't they?
Oh my God.
You're gonna
I
do
would
that.
not be
You're
surprised
gonna put Martin Sheen on the Uncle Ben bowl. It's like here's this presidential guy.
Oh,
Right.
Oh God. Okay, let's.
It's ridiculous.
I'm glad I stopped myself. I was close to going off like Nikki did. I mean, even though you're joking, Nikki, I came close to going off.
No,
I'm glad I stopped.
serious.
I'm glad my brain paused. I'm glad my brain paused. I mean, I hate the overreaction that's happening here. I hate the
It's
overreaction
pretty.
that's going on.
It's pretty bad because the point is going to be if they start taking, because they were also talking about the cream of wheat, because not a lot of people remember cream of wheat, but I remember that shit. But it was a chef. When I was a kid, it was a chef. It wasn't some, it was a chef. It was nothing overtly. It was a chef.
All right. Let's let Matt get his point out. He was going somewhere with this.
He was going somewhere until he got away.
For one, I wasn't talking about the overreaction to an extent.
Okay.
And then I heard something about president and whatnot. Anyway.
God damn it!
Splash Mountain is a ride at Disney World,
is.
obviously. And there's a petition that
to get the theme
change it, like change Splash Mountain out of it.
Yeah.
To
Princess
and the Frog.
Oh,
now I have.
right.
Wait, I didn't hear you. I'm
Here's
sorry.
my problem. I have a big problem with it, and this is the only problem I have. It doesn't fit the theme of the area it's in.
Yeah. No.
It just doesn't because in where Splash Mountain is, it's like more Western, type of thing. It has nothing to do with anything
I still
with
haven't
Princess
seen
and
it.
Frog. It's not like New Orleans. So putting that
They would have to literally change the entire ride. They would have to demolish it and then rebuild something in its place.
It's not like
because-
hyperspace.
Yeah,
No.
I agree with you, man.
It's a natural
That's
fit.
it.
Hyperspace, man.
They could keep the ride there. They would just have to take out the animatronics and put in,
But the problem is, like,
Prince Frog, but it wouldn't fit.
what part of a log flume
But then
even
the
goes
Smash
with Princess and the
itself, though.
Frog?
Why is Norman Reedus there and where's his crossbow?
Yeah.
Why, is he have a
Why are we watching
Yeah,
this Boondock
what's going
Saints?
on?
Harry, what are you
What
doing?
is-
This is
Why
Maddie.
we got Boondock Saints popping up?
I've never seen this movie and he knows it and he's trying to force me to watch it.
Oh, you're insane.
It's great for Willem Dafoe.
Well, I
Willem
love
Dafoe is amazing. Yeah, Willem Dafoe
Is he
is
Willem
it's
Dafoe or is he
fantastic
Willem
in this film.
Dafoe?
Oh, he's Willem to crazy out of his mind. He's great.
I never seen Boondock Saints.
Oh,
Billy
yeah.
Connolly's good in it. Billy Connolly's
There are
playing Billy
3
Connolly.
separate scenes that's pure Willem Dafoe.
Yes, yes.
Why are there Russian subtitles? Devin raises a good
Because
question.
he got some
Why are there-
bootleg. Because he got some bootleg on him.
This is a bootleg copy upload.
Why are there
Yeah.
Russian subtitles in general, though?
You're
That's
not
what I
going
need to ask.
Boruski.
Who is
Yeah,
that?
that's happy and not on a call where people are spoiling Last of Us 2.
Patrick Flanagan. What is his name?
Flannery, I think. Flannery.
Yeah, that's it. Sean Patrick Flannery.
Alan, are you in this movie?
I am not. I should be.
Let's not watch this. Let's watch Jurassic World instead.
There we go.
Oh no.
Okay, so I have to ask, just because I only started coming on I literally only met you a couple of weeks ago. What is the basis of the Jurassic World comments and jokes? What is the actual basis behind it?
I
Well,
work.
Alan said he's a raptor who says.
I was in. We have an animatronic where I work a place where they filmed most of Jurassic World. Every scene that was out. Yeah,
Okay.
where they were. So I literally, my office is right across the street from the Indominus Rex cage or pen.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we have an animatronic Blue, the Raptor Blue costume that I sometimes go running around in. There was a couple of times. Well, actually, I was with Bryce and Chris.
First name
during the well, yeah.
He says casually.
I doubt they remember. Well, Chris might remember me, but I doubt Bryce would. But they did a promo for when the Blu-ray came out, where there's a couple photos out there. Yeah, that I was with them in the actual.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
in the actual costume. Yeah, I'm in the line for the gyrosphere scene, but you can't really see me. I even try to freeze frame it, and I can't find myself. So
in Jurassic Park 3, there's a raptor that says Alan, and
there is
when
a Jurassic Park 3 that says Alan. So that's what.
I knew nothing about the blue stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just a coincidence that we have a raptor
Just a
that says
coincidence.
Alan, and we have Alan the raptor.
Oops,
So
the raptor.
I just want to
Yeah.
point out the pop of Alan.
Yeah, there's a pop of me. That's totally me.
Okay,
I will claim it.
So then, question for you: as you are a star of the first Jurassic World, which one do you prefer, the first one or the second one?
What's interesting? I prefer the first. I prefer the second part of the second movie.
Ooh.
Once they get off the island, I love all that stuff.
That is the correct answer. That is the correct.
Yes,
Did you witness King McGrath die?
Yes, and I love the
What do you mean that's
Indoraptor.
the-
I think the
what do you mean
Indoraptor
that's
is
the
an
correct
amazingly
answer?
designed dinosaur. I think those scenes of in the house are fantastically
Toby
done.
Jones?
I love it,
Alan,
and I
are
love
you-
the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Laser
But I
pointer
do-
raptor
Ellen.
thing? I love it.
yeah.
So you like the
Zephyrin Cochran?
So let me ask you this: you like the
Yep. Go ahead.
you like the clone twist aspect?
No, that part I'm not really a big fan of that. But the rest of it, I think it's a
that
well done.
They wanted to kill the
horror kind of
dinosaurs.
movie.
All the people that care about it, like Owen, they like to kill them. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that scene was a little bit okay. Come on, but I love the use of the I want to call him the Craniosaur because he has the skull on his head. I don't remember what it's called. But when he's
yeah.
making him come through the wall, that kind of stuff. I like all that stuff. I thought Chris Pratt had something to do in that part of the film.
That's always
and
nice, right?
Yeah, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Pachycephalosaurus.
Pachycephalosaur. There you go. And I really was intrigued by the very, very end when you see Blue come upon the neighborhood, and when the T-Rex goes and the lion is there.
Basically, where Dominion's going.
Yeah, exactly.
Going to the store.
Yeah, that's right. That's when we go to the store.
Yeah, but then you get the whole Jeff Goldblum going, "Welcome to Jurassic World."
But he got paid a lot for that.
I actually have a question for you, Alan. How did you get involved in that industry in general? Because it seems like something I know a lot of people want to do. A lot of people want to get into film in some way, and then it's, I don't think we've ever asked how you got in it.
Well, my background is in theater and performance. Okay. So I had an agent. So when I did my episodes of Lost and episodes of the episodes of Hawaii Five-0,
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I love it when you talk about this stuff.
And so I got into that for there.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's
okay. Now we want to make something interesting. My favorite Jurassic Park movie is this one, the third one.
Oh my God, really?
I love this one. I love this one. I love the Spinosaurus. Really? The Spinosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, hands down ever.
Nokia phone.
I love all that. When he's standing there and that foam goes off in his belly, I love that scene. I think it's hilarious. I love it.
And Bill or George or whatever his name is dead and he's not.
Yeah, it's great. That T-Rex Spinosaurus fight is still my favorite fight to watch. I think Sam Neill is enjoying the hell out of being in this movie.
Yeah,
probably.
I really think he is.
He probably enjoyed the paycheck.
He enjoyed that paycheck.
He saw Jeff get it in the second one, and he's like, I want some of that action.
Yep, I want some of that action. There's parts about the second one that I really love.
Oh, yeah.
There's parts about the second one I love.
I like the second one.
What happened to him?
Yeah,
he made the Psycho remake, and they said, "Go back to comedy. You're done."
Right? They said, "Go be funny again."
He's gone from the movie.
He's gone from everything. He just disappears.
You said you
were.
I think Lost?
And Lost, I had no lines. It was in 2 episodes, and you could just barely see me. In fact, the first one, you saw my feet. Exactly right. You saw my feet.
So
when the others first show up. Yeah.
So did you run into JJ since he was so heavily involved?
No. Never met him. Never nothing.
I love JJ.
So can you ask one of the castmates of Lost to give you JJ's number so you can text him and
sure. I'll ask Jorge.
Because I have a question.
I worship the altar of JJ.
I want you to text him. Hey, Matt Beer from TMG Entertainment. I bet you heard of him.
Yeah, of course.
He wants to
definitely
know
DM'd you.
Why did you fuck up the Rise of Skywalker?
Oh yeah, that would be my first question for him.
No, hell no,
Why did you fuck up the
no.
ending to Lost?
It completely ruined the trilogy.
No.
I would ask him, why would he work with Chris Terrio? Why would he want to write a script with Chris Terrio? Chris Terrio is a
That's a better question.
Okay,
exactly right.
Hold on.
He did Dark Knight stuff.
Yeah.
I have to ask. I have never understood where the specificity of the hate for Terrio comes from, because just let me think about this. Remember, I'm pretty sure he won the Oscar in 2012 for Argo.
I think
he did for Argo.
Argo is not a solid movie from
the thing with Terrio is Terrio's good on a script or a story that he cares about.
Or
he didn't have nothing. Exactly. He didn't care about the Star Wars stuff. They did not. They had no plan. So I don't really blame Terrio for that because it wasn't his fault.
He has came out and said he was a fan of Star Wars.
Here's my thing.
Terrio, he's leading the charge on always explaining everything from Rise of Skywalker. Terrio's leading the charge on all this stuff. He doesn't have to explain why certain moments are there. It can just be we were writing that we wanted to agree. Look, I understand when you want to defend your work, but when it is this obvious to how Rise of Skywalker is such a rush.
It's a rush. It's a rush.
I'm not going to defend this. I do not want to defend something that was rushed together just so they can fit into Disney's quota.
Right.
I'm glad Ryan wasn't on our panel a couple hours ago.
Hold on. So I just want to say what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Let's let Aaron say it.
What did you want to say about how great The Rise of Skywalker is?
No,
I
don't like the movie. I don't like the movie really.
Okay, you're out.
You're wondering why about Chris Terrio, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, get him out. You beat me to it.
No.
Bring him back. Get him back in here.
Let me say.
Get him back.
If you're going to defend Halo 2, you have to defend The Rise of Skywalker, man. I had your back before.
Can I talk?
Let him talk.
Let him talk.
What I was trying to say is the specific
Why?
Matt, I swear to God, Matt, I will kill against you.
Now I don't unmuted.
Aaron, go.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is like the specifics of like why people hate Chris Terrio so much. Because whether you like the movie or not, Argo is of a certain quality, I would at least say. And he did win an Oscar for it. He then went into Batman v Superman, which he is credited on as a writer. But if you do the research, it's well known that he was brought on later into the project. And there's literally pictures of him on set with Ben Affleck in the Batman costume rewriting those scenes. So that means that Terrio's involvement was with the Batman stuff, which is some of the better stuff of that film. Then you have Justice League, which, yes, is not a good movie, but it's a movie that we all know got bastardized. And then Rise of Skywalker, we know is the same thing. It's a movie that was rushed and bastardized. So my specific point is people hate on Terrio specifically, and I agree with you with he doesn't need to come out and defend every little detail about Rise of Skywalker, but people have been like slandering this guy's name for years, and it's like it's not 100% his fault that he gets involved with these big budget projects and they go to shit. Like his involvement with Justice League was with Snyder's script. Now, if the Snyder cut comes out and the Snyder cut sucks, that's one thing. But
which it's not going to.
Look, I agree with you in terms of Batman and Justice League. My issue is that Star Wars is already a very it's pretty much a time bomb. So when you have Terrio understanding the fandom he's about to be a part of by writing a movie, and now he's trying to stand his ground like he's a freaking Spartan going up against Persians going, no, the Emperor makes sense. No, Rey being Palpatine is awesome. Yes, Finn is a force sensitive. He does not need to fight anything.
I agree with those things though, because the opening move we see Rey do with a lightsaber is the same opening move that we see Sheev Palpatine with a lightsaber in Revenge of the Sith. People that say they did not plan it at all are incorrect. They planted the seeds and they weren't grow to yet.
Nikki, now you're apologizing.
No, I'm not apologizing. I'm just saying that JJ laid out options. He
laid out options.
Force Awakens. He had options. And then in Rise of Skywalker, he took one of those options and he developed it into a story under the timetable that Disney had. Yes, I would have loved it if they had another year, but I don't think it's as bad as like Justice League was, where that was
it's not.
There was a lot of problems with that movie.
But
none the least of which being Carrie Fisher isn't alive anymore. So I think that's what hampered the script the most.
You know what they do?
Kylo doesn't even speak in the last half hour of the movie, and when he had a big vote shot to say.
No, they let JJ remake the prequels.
Wait, hold on, guys, he's going crazy. Let's get Matt.
Okay,
we're trying
come back to Earth. Come back to Earth.
Stop it. Sorry, my dog's going crazy.
Because I kept muting him and he kept unmuting it, and then I muted it and he unmuted it. It was pretty funny.
Okay, all right, let's come back to Earth. Go ahead, Ryan.
Pierre, get what you guys say before the Emperor mutes all of us again.
Okay, thank you for putting a full screen. Here's my problem. I think if you take The Rise of Skywalker and make it a standalone movie, just like a one-off, not trilogy at all, let's say you do your whole thing with Rey and all them, and then you make it its own movie, I think it's a good movie at that point. However,
I agree.
When you look at it in that trilogy, there was a plan clearly set up to where, okay, so we had The Force Awakens, great starting point. Then we had The Last Jedi. And then JJ didn't like what happened in, The Last Jedi, so he completely tossed everything out of there and basically did his second and third movie and combined it into one thing, which doesn't really work. And there was a plan before, Carrie passed, before Last Jedi came out, there was a plan. There was no Palpatine. There was nothing at all. So because the movie seemed very obvious that Palpatine was kind of thrown in there, which if it was planned, I do like the aspect of he created Snoke. He messed with Kylo. I do like that aspect of it. And I think everything with the Emperor in it, as far as the performances go, is great. That opening scene where, Kylo first sees the Emperor, fantastic scene. I really do love it. But it's clear that how this movie ended up being was not part of the plan back in 2012, 2013 when they were getting the story planned out. My problem is this movie, it basically it kind of hurts the trilogy because it was not planned. It was clearly like a last second type of thing. If they went with the plan, did Colin Trevorrow's script, or kind of rewrote some things but kept that story and recasted Carrie, because I think Carrie would have been fine with that, because Leia is such a beloved character. She knows the fans love it. So you get somebody like Meryl Streep, or any top tier actress who was around her age, Judi Dench, anybody who could have pulled off a really good performance. I think people would be fine with it.
I agree with you, Matt. And Nikki, I don't really truly hate Rise of Skywalker. I hate the whole politics of movie studios in general. How when they get a property that has been done well or has been presented us with such heart and soul, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're just gonna take it, we're gonna mold it and turn it into what we want. I agree with Matt. If Rise of Skywalker, and I truly mean, if they had taken some time after Carrie Fisher's death to really try to put together how they're going to shoot around the whole subject of Leia. Because to be honest, Leia could have been, most of her scenes could have been her as a hologram projection. That way, you don't have to worry too much on CGI. Yeah, don't worry too much on CGI. And then when you do need to physically get her in there, we can use that moment to where she tries to reach out to Ben again. Have it to be where she's meditating and tries to reach out to him through the Force. We cut to Ben on his ship talking to the governors, and then all of a sudden he pauses for 1 second, feels his mother, and then he gets right back into it again. That way Leia knows she can reach to him. So then when they go back to one of the moons near Endor, and then Rey and Kylo are having that fight, not only do we know Leia can reach out to Ben, but she knows this time she will succeed, even if it means her own life.
Meryl Streep's hot.
And honestly,
that's a good fix, Ryan.
Honestly,
that's a good fix. I like that.
Monday morning quarterback this. It's really easy to Monday morning quarterback.
Just the pacing. The pacing is just a nightmare in that movie. I did not need everything to just go quick.
Right.
And the biggest issue, politicking. I think Kathleen Kennedy and whoever else is in charge at Disney believe too much in giving too much creative power.
She would have never allowed that Trevorrow script. That's what people need to understand. Is they would have added Palpatine to that script as well.
But Palpatine was only going to be like a small cameo in the Trevorrow script.
That's what I'm saying. She would have made him the main villain.
Okay. So
have you guys seen the edit? Have you guys seen the edit of the last scene with the Force ghosts?
Yes.
In the
that was so good.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So because I just want to talk quickly, because I'm what I'm gathering is Nikki is a fan of Rise of Skywalker, and that's not a bad thing. Like when people ask me, because among my actual in my real life, my friends, I'm like the movie critic, quote unquote. So when people ask me what I thought, my one-line review of Rise of Skywalker is it's a movie that the more you think about it, it pisses me off because it doesn't make sense. But I saw it twice within 12 hours and wasn't bored either time. It's not a bad movie. It is entertaining. But here's my problem with it. When I say that Lucasfilm didn't have a plan and they weren't thinking it out, that's not to say JJ didn't have a plan. Maybe that little lightsaber hint was. But the problem the problem with this is JJ stepped away. JJ had the option to keep going.
He shouldn't have stepped away.
And JJ stepped away.
And he knows that.
And then Rian Johnson came in, and here's the thing. I don't think Rian Johnson majorly broke anything in Force Awakens. Sure, he subverted expectations, a word that the internet hates now. But it's like when you watch Force Awakens and The Last Jedi back to back, the fact that Rey's parents are nobody is not breaking anything that Force Awakens set up. It's not. But the problem is then for whatever reason, because I thought Trevorrow's script was fine, or at least what people have seen of it, I think it's fine. I think it would have been good. But they toss that to the side, they bring JJ back in, and they say again, okay, no boundaries, write your own script from scratch. And the problem is JJ came up with his own ideas for how the series should go, but would never commit to making it. And so now you're getting a movie from a filmmaker who was hurt that his ideas weren't followed when he chose to step away, and you're getting this mess of a movie that's trying to explain why this is the way things really should have been and trying to counteract things in Last Jedi. And it's like it turns the movie into it, like, and the problem is the movie, in this blind stretch to make it be exactly what JJ thought it should have been from the beginning, misses a whole bunch of things.
Go home happy.
Is any of those worse than making Luke and Leia brother and sister in Return of the Jedi? That's all I have to say to that.
There is, it's not on the same level because it's just different.
Yeah, it's different.
I'm on my last piece. I will say is that I agree with you. The more you think about Rise of Skywalker, it makes you mad. But but here's the thing with The Last Jedi, as much praise as it's getting now after its release, after like months away from its release. Well, of course, it was obvious when it opened. Yes, nobody wanted to rewatch this movie. Nobody wanted to think too much on it. But then when you look back on it again, the subversion tropes, yes, they're frustrating. But then when you look at the overall theme, you look at the struggle of each character and what Rian Johnson paints. Every character, no matter how small, has an important part to play in that movie. From even Hux, who is seen as a pathetic wimp. You see the reason why he's planted in the First Order, for someone to be controlled by somebody like Snoke. And later on, as you see with Kylo, because Hux, no matter how much power he might have, he's never going to raise a voice against someone with actual power like Kylo and Snoke.
Physical power. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
I love one last thing. And one last thing with Poe. I love the fact that he was seen, that he's a little reckless. I mean, it's one of the reasons why he's a great pilot. But then when you get an actual situation, when you actually slow that plot down, do the whole thing where you got that ship far away from the starship, and they're just barraging at it. You really get a look inside Poe's mind. As you see, he does not want to sit in one place too long. He wants, like what Leia said, get in a cockpit and blast something. He's always moving forward, never stopping for one moment to understand my actions have consequences, which is why on rewatch, when you see that plot of Poe disobeying Holdo's orders and then causing that mutiny, he wants to do something. He's a man of action. It's not until when his plan fails in front of his face, and Leia, someone who he highly respects, comes in with a blaster, shoots him down.
It's growth. You said growth.
Yeah, growth. Yeah. And also has to realize that even there, blurting out to Finn with someone they don't trust on board, overhearing Holdo's plan to escape. Everything was linked there. That Poe's actions, not only did he have more blood in his hands, and then you see it undone in Rise of Skywalker, to where he's back again, being that man of action, to where Leia's death has to get him to slow down again. I mean, that's why when you just think about it too many times with Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker back and forth, too much to think about it, it's just a goddamn mess.
And they already set it up in Last Jedi when they prayed that Leia gave him the leadership command. Yeah. I mean, follow his order. Like, what you
but they've been in that moment. Like, follow him.
And it's like for me, like what encapsulates the problem of Rise of Skywalker is great scenes and a horribly thought out overall layout. And this is the scene that I always go to an example of. To me, at least, one of the best lightsaber fights in Star Wars history is that fight between Rey and Kylo. I think it's choreographed well. I think it's emotionally driven. I think their acting is both really well done. I like I've heard people make comments like, "Oh, they should have used like Duel of the Fates." No, I like that there's no score. I like that you just hear.
I love that each lightsaber fight is representing different periods of time. That's why I like with the prequels why it's so flashy, because this is the Jedi at their power. They're so trained in the Force. They're trained literally as warriors from children, so they can be flashy. They can expel this extra energy. It's not until war you realize they have to stop with the twirling and actually defend themselves. because there's changes in lightsaber fights moving from the first one against Maul.
Yeah.
Then we
They use
the
more
next
single-hand combat in the sequel.
Yeah,
And
It's
also-
more realistic.
but yeah. So
Let's-
sorry,
Go
what
ahead, go ahead,
what I
Aaron.
was saying is, so like this scene overall, it's one of the best lightsaber fights. It's one of the most emotionally driven. I think it's really well acted. It's maybe my favorite scene in the movie, and it shouldn't fucking exist. You know why? Because if you just look at it, if you think about it for 1 second, watch Return of the Jedi. Watch how that Death Star explodes. There's no way there's that
That's
much
not
of
what
an
my mind
effect.
goes.
There's no
My
way
mind
there's
doesn't go to what could be. My
There's
mind goes
no-
to what is.
there's no way that there is that much of the Death Star left over, including an almost entirely intact throne room, which was where the explosion happened from. Like, it wouldn't.
I think
It
I think
wouldn't.
I think the biggest example of what the movie could have been, and I think it's the best scene in the movie, is
It's great.
Poe and
Revenge of the
Lan-
Sith.
If Poe and
Hold on, Chris.
Lando.
Go ahead, Chris. You didn't turn the volume on. Go ahead.
The thing where after Leia died and Poe having that conversation with Lando about Poe at the end was just how you guys get along so well, winning this whole fight, and Lando just playing not that easy. That beach scene alone, so what Rise of Skywalker could have been like.
I can watch The Rise of Skywalker and enjoy my. It is not a good movie, but it is enjoyable. I have fun watching it. But that is come together.
Them trying to
I think
retcon Luke pissed me off so much in Rise of Skywalker.
Honestly, I didn't see that as much of an issue because pretty much the same character. Remember, beginning of The Last Jedi, and this is what I love about Luke in The Last Jedi.
Mhm.
He's kind of like Yoda. He's in exile because of a mistake he made, and then as you progress in the movie, he by Yoda. This is not how I should be. We should be making sure Rey is being trained and is on the right side. He learns his lesson. He goes from to we're gonna and stuff. So he goes back to us.
Yeah.
I honestly
That's one of the
love that
small
whole
connecting
thing, and Mark
threads. Yeah, that's one of the
He's
small
so
connecting
good.
threads I actually love from Last Jedi to
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker. Mark Hamill's connecting thread. Luke realizing he made the big mistake by not being a mentor to Rey, so he makes it up when she shows up on Octo.
But they could have used him more, it felt like.
Right.
Go ahead,
And
Matt.
I think that JJ was doing a slap in the face when Rey throws a lightsaber and Luke catches it and goes, "That's no way to treat a Jedi's weapon." Yeah, I think he was kind of going like,
Oh,
"Hey,
that was
Rey,
definitely a
that's
dig."
wrong."
That one line was on the nose. The rest of the scene.
Or how about that dig? Or how about that dig that we hear like we should do more? How about we do a hold on maneuver? Are you fucking kidding me?
Because
that woman sacrificed herself to save hundreds of lives, and then JJ wants to write in as a slap joke. It's like, oh, we should do that more often. Does nobody not understand? Like
He got me a joke at the best moment in Last Jedi when Hobo do that.
But at the same time, this is him appeasing the fans, going like, "Oh, don't wait, guys. I share your hatred too." Here's the one last thing I will say on Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Holdo sacrificing herself. She knew she was going to die because she told Leia somebody needed to stay behind.
Yeah.
It wasn't until she saw all of the crafts being destroyed she realized the plan failed. So guess what? She made a last-minute decision. She changed. Instead of dying, instead of agreeing to die, she was going out on her own terms. I love that about the Last Jedi with Holdo. The fact that AJ wants to turn it into a throwaway line, like, we're going to go to Exegol. How we destroy those starships? Let's do a couple of Holdo maneuvers.
I was gonna say we can move on if anyone has another topic because Last Jedi
wrap up. I mean, we've been going 2.5 hours.
Because I was gonna say Last Jedi is a totally different discussion from Rise of Skywalker, but I remember because I saw Rise of, not to brag, but I saw Last Jedi like two days early because the theater I worked at had access to the file, and so they put on a screening. But I remember it was me and two other guys at like 1 a.m. when we did the screening. We were the only ones there, and we left thinking, wow, that was really good, and we were talking about it. And then I remember like whatever. The next day, the Rotten Tomato reviews go up, and the critic scores were really high. And I was like, oh, awesome! This is going to be like another Star Wars movie people love. And then I saw the fan scores, and I saw people's reactions, and I was like, wait, is something clicking with me that's not clicking with them, or something clicking with them that's not clicking with me? Like, I didn't understand where the disconnect was.
Even the YouTube reviews will show you how the disconnect was. Some people were just ranting just to rants. I mean, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. I've been doing a lot of talking. You go right ahead.
This is how this week is going right now with The Last of Us. Same thing with Last Jedi. People just like, oh, people like The Last of Us. Then people come on like, I hate the story decision. I am the first half hour of the game right now. I love it. I'm trying to understand why people hate it at the moment.
I'm gonna play it tomorrow. I've heard the same thing. People are like, this is the last Jedi of video games, and then so in my head,
so in about 2 years they're gonna come around and realize it's okay.
This is one of the worst games. Me, Jedi. Oh, so that means it's gonna be great.
Yeah. During my breaks of my Harry Potter during my Harry Potter movie marathon, I go onto Twitch just to look at a few Last of Us streams, part 2 or part 1. One guy who was doing a 24-hour stream, Ben Goddard, who was doing a 24-hour stream and he put on The Last of Us Part 2. He just talked during the stream that it's a very depressing game. Not like it's sad.
Well, the first one's not exactly fun and fun.
No. I'm not judging it. I've not played The Last of Us Part 2, and I only remember playing bits and pieces of The Last of Us because I don't personally own a PlayStation. I always have to borrow it from friends. So it's kind of like, I understand the story is very dragging, at least emotionally wise. It will put you through the ringer, especially the opening scene in the first Last of Us game. I mean, just that, letting you know this is the winter game, and then slowly being introduced, like you time jump. And before you even meet Ellie, I mean, you're being seen this world, how everyone's on edge with this whole viral fungus situation. And then afterwards, once you get Ellie progressing through the game, you're seeing how so many people are reacting to this. The Fireflies, they want to cure it. Other organizations, they just want to contain this. And then there's strangers or people out there who just want to be left the fuck alone and do their own thing.
Yeah, but to go back on The Last Jedi and why people didn't like it, I think the main reason why people were really going at it was because it's different from any Star Wars movie. It's not like your traditional Star Wars movie. It's pretty different. It takes Star Wars, like in the beginning it takes Luke. You expect Luke from episode 6 to now to just warrior, just not. He's kind of like, I've given up on it, because the thing I did that turned, Poe, obviously people love Poe. He kind of at first is looked down upon by and whatnot because of the decision he's making. But as you see, it's obviously the progresses, character and make him learn things and whatnot. I'll give people Finn.
And for him to take stock of this situation. Yeah.
I think Alan's trying to say something.
I gotta jump out, guys. I gotta jump out. I'll leave with this. I think Last Jedi is the best looking, as far as it's beautiful. Absolutely best looking. And to kind of tie it into going back just a little bit, I wish we would have got the Hux from the Trevorrow script.
Yes,
because that Hux was awesome. That Hux was awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen from the script. I would have loved to have seen Luke and Ben's conversations. I mean, Ben punching
that would have been good.
Artifacts, and then seeing Luke, because I loved when someone was reading that script out, that one exchange between the two of them where Ben goes, I am the last. I'm powerful. I'm the last Skywalker. And then that little concept art of Luke grabbing Ben's lightsaber as a Force ghost, going, "You are no Skywalker." I mean, just seeing something like that visually in movie format would have been cool.
And it would have tied into The Last Jedi, because in The Last Jedi, he
see you around, kid.
Says, "I'll see you around," basically saying, "Listen, strike me down. I'm going to follow you."
I would have liked it if you
strike me down, and I will become more powerful than you could ever imagine.
I just don't see Luke taunting him. Luke wasn't a mean-spirited guy. Like, he wouldn't have been taunting him. He would have been trying to bring him back. I just looked at it like that's just not what happened.
I think Luke was trying to say was that you strike me in anger because he felt as if you do this, you're going to regret it. Just like how you regret killing your father. Just like what Snoke said, killing your dad splits you down to the bone.
You regretted it.
Pretty much saying, and I like how Kylo is being shown he's always being tortured by the light. There's that goodness in him, but he chooses to be the bad guy. I mean,
He's good in all 3 of the movies.
Yes.
Just like there's good in Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Kid is saying that could have saved Rise of Skywalker. If they're having Han be the one that taught Ben into the light, it could have been Luke referring back to
It could have been, but Harrison Ford's a bigger shock factor. Like I remember seeing that and be like, oh, because I automatically assumed when it said "Hey kid" that it was Luke.
But then at the same time,
his father bringing him back.
Yeah.
And then you look at Kylo's story. You mirror that same point to where Kylo, where he even Force Awakens, he says, "I'm being torn apart. I know what I have to do. I don't know if I have the strength to do it." You can feel it. There's a part of it. Even that last second, even though predicting you can tell he's gonna die, there could have been that one time your mind go, I'm gonna drop my lightsaber down and I'm gonna walk out with my dad. But instead he chooses to kill him.
Says it. Luke was a Jedi. You're his father.
Yeah,
Luke couldn't bring him back. That's the whole point. He needed his father to bring him back.
Yeah.
And that was the last bit of energy that Leia had. She's imprinting that memory in his head. She's reaching into his mind, pulling that memory out. And Kylo gets a chance to redo it and just throws his lightsaber away. I'm going to be Ben Solo.
And that also adds some extra thing to where, when Leia's dead, her body is just there for everybody until the end where she disappears. You can also say that there's still a part of her with Ben. There's still a part of her with Ben after he turns. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maddie, what do you think? Oh, sorry, Matt.
You've been involved in this one.
Matt.
I do think, though, because I know a lot of people were not, for the Last Jedi because how different it was. I do think it's going to have an empire effect to where, people at first maybe don't like it, but you're going to see as years go on, people are going to start to appreciate the Last Jedi at least, or start to love it even.
Just like Jar Jar. People love Jar Jar now.
No, we're not there yet. We're not.
I will argue for that. I will argue for
I love
there are some people who are looking at Jar Jar much in a lighter tone. There's even people I've listened to who said they love Jar Jar even after the Phantom Menace because
excuse me.
But okay,
I loved him as a kid.
I've rewatched the Clone Wars. Jar Jar is not that is insufferable as people think.
Jar Jar hooks up in the Clone Wars.
Jar Jar,
where he bangs this space alien lady. It's incredible.
And that when Obi-Wan and Anakin are captured, Jar Jar, he may have messed up on the crash landing, but he's in tune with the animals to where he knows where to hide from
Calamari
not Mon Calamari. No, when they meet Hondo.
Oh yes, Hondo.
Yeah, when Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Dooku are captured by Hondo, Jar Jar's clumsiness does help. Help the clone.
Because that other senator dies, and then he needs to take over. And like, who's in command? Representative Binks. And he's got like the acid rain, all that stuff. It's good stuff.
Hey Matt,
and also the episode where Padme goes meets her godfather.
Oh,
Jar Jar's mistaken for a Jedi. Guess what? Jar Jar's familiar with because of his kinship with animals and him being able to breathe underwater, he's able to be effective.
Master and Mace.
Sorry, Matt. I thought that was yours.
Jedi. Like, who's a Jedi around here? I think it's you, sir. Me's a Jedi? I'm no Jedi.
Listen to Harbour.
What?
I can tell we're starting to annoy you guys. We said tell us we're annoying you with our constant talk of the Jar Jar.
It's not
Jar Jar
to the Supreme Chancellor, which is Maddie G.
What's up, Chris?
I'm glad people are coming around on Jar Jar. I'm fucking not.
You're glad people are coming on Jar Jar. Okay, everybody, that's a great
story. I'm glad people are finding joy in it. It's not for me.
Is that
I want to come
getting out of the car?
I'm with you there.
Aaron, is that what you heard the hooker say getting out of the car at McDonald's?
I'm with you too.
I'm melting away from this.
We were doing a great job not going dirty, and then we referenced last week's show.
Look, you say come on Jar Jar.
You don't get it.
Okay. I agree with you. I don't want to come on Jar Jar either.
So uncivilized.
No.
Okay. Well, we've stolen Matt's show from him for the last 2.5 hours. Matt, you want to make the call of what happens next?
How about that?
Aaron, you know finding hookers at McDonald's story.
Okay, if we're gonna jump in this territory, I might not bow out.
All right. Obviously, Ryan didn't watch last week's show, or he didn't know what we were talking about.
Watch your mouth, kid. You're gonna find something floating home.
Basically, to not go into detail, because clearly you do not want to hear this. I was basically, to keep it brief. Last week we were talking about shady things in fast food restaurants, and one night when I was coming home from work, I was at a McDonald's drive-thru at 3 a.m. and a hooker hopped out of the car in front of me.
Hopped on a car in front of you.
Yeah, like the car in front of me had a hooker in it while just sitting in a drive-thru line. And then I was waiting behind them for like 20 minutes or more, and then a hooker hopped out and offered her services to the McDonald's employees.
And he's dead.
I'm dead serious. I couldn't make this up.
I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah,
I'm keeping my tongue because I have no idea what dirty jokes this peanut gallery is going to come up with.
We already did it last week. That's the thing. We already did it.
Yeah.
Then I will make sure I skip over that. I'll make sure I skip over that when I rewatch it.
Last week's episode was called, oh God, what was it? Uncivilized behavior for a reason.
It got
pretty crazy.
So uncivilized.
Can I just say, I found it funny that like on almost every show I've been on so far, when we've had a guest, we're usually like we keep our composure and it's a normal show, and then it goes off the rails. And last week it only went off the rails when Adam showed up.
Yeah,
because Adam gets it. Like, Adam,
he's one of us.
Yeah, Adam's the best.
No.
Yeah, but that was pretty. That was a fun episode.
It was something else, man. Oof.
Yeah, it was. That was as close as we've ever gotten to the old. But the old first three was the Fuck, Marry, Kill episodes.
That's welcome.
That's what I'll remember them as. The Fuck,
You
Marry,
don't
Kill
go.
episodes.
Don't go back to Old After Dark.
I kind of want to go back and watch them. Are they still on the channel, or did you get rid of them?
Yeah, they're on there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're still on the channel, but I'm just saying, don't return to that old format.
No. I just
talked to. They saw the old After Dark and they don't even want to watch the new stuff.
I want to see what that was. Like, I have to know what the limit that was too far was considered to know if I'm still being allowed on, so I guess I'm okay.
Well, if you want to know the limit, they have an episode where they have a woman on there, and trust me, she does not come back after that. That's the limit.
Enough.
You know, it's kind of. Never mind. I'm gonna hold my tongue on that.
Right.
That's all I can tell when it comes to
I
don't know the full story on that. All I just know is that they had a woman as a guest, and then next time she's just not back. I'm like, what happened?
Was there a girl on the show? I thought it was just a bunch of
Video Drew. I remember Video Drew being on, Rachel Silverstreamy, but
no, before you did the guest.
All right, let's move on from talking about the show's horrific past.
Okay, let's talk about the show's
Maddie looks mad.
What we got next week?
Yeah. Yeah. What is his name? Hold on. Subrath should be announcing this, but we know Subrath. Chris. Hold on.
Chris did.
No.
Who's that?
Okay.
Chris Diaz.
Yep.
I know who that
Chris
is.
Hughes.
He's right there.
His name is Chris Hughes. He was a part of. He was actually on the watch along with Snyder when they announced the Snyder.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
I do remember that.
If
next week.
If I'm here, I'll play nice. I promise.
Okay.
We'll talk all about the Snyder Cut.
That's pretty much. Yeah.
I'll be silent pretty much the entire episode.
I'll wear my Robin costume.
You do that.
Oh,
I mean, I can with a crowbar.
Devin,
Devin said he'll bring the crowbar.
Don't let him do it. Don't let him do that, Devin.
Crowbar.
Oh no,
Bring the crowbar.
good.
Devin, you're the only
No,
one with a
but-
reason who can stop that.
No.
I think we should go back and rewatch that.
But, no, those were wild times though. Those first few, and I'm glad we got to what the show is now, where it's practically just us hanging out. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we're hanging out, talking about whatever. You know, I can get filthy. You know, we can talk filthy, but let's not get let's not get to the point. You know,
The way you said
let's bring the diet filthy.
That was a Tinder pitch right there. I can get filthy.
Yeah, I'm dirty.
If you want. We can get a little filthy.
I mean, I'm not homeless.
We'll get diet filthy.
Couches.
That's how I'll address it. We'll get diet filthy, but we won't get filthy like we did those first 3 episodes.
All right, yeah, I can go with that.
Diet filthy.
Diet filthy 0.
I don't think
Filthy
I
0.
don't think that would have lasted. I mean, we had somebody. Yeah, we had
would want to be
somebody.
on.
Yeah, besides that, yeah.
Yeah, besides everybody that was on.
I do have to say though, like as someone who has only just recently started appearing with you guys regularly and like has been on the outside, when I go back and look at the catalog and I see like hearing you guys discuss what the show was and knowing that this has really only been about 4 months worth of a normal show, and I see that you guys have already found a way in to get guests that other shows took ages to get to the point where they get on.
Yeah.
It's somewhat impressive. I'm glad I'm here to drag you down, but it's somewhat impressive. You guys are doing great.
It's all Maddie and Sarah this week.
Java thought your joke was funny.
That's
Then
funny.
give me a laugh I have there.
But yeah,
Okay, that was
it's
Devin.
kind of. I thought he's watching. It's kind of like the old Battleground, like when it was ran by another CD back in the day when it was literally just
Fan movie
like
fights.
fan movie fights. It was literally like 3.
What the hell?
What happened?
Oh, what'd you do? To be kidding. No. I'm sorry. I was just looking at some news headlines, and there's this one article in USA Today of a professor deeming Mary Poppins of racism because of one of the characters being blackened up. You know, the whole soot thing with one of the characters. There's one professor is saying it's an accusation of blackface.
Okay, let's talk about the Klingons on Star Trek. I mean, the first appearance of Kayla.
There we go.
White guy in black.
There we go.
Let's
Every
talk
coal
about
miner's
West
racist
Side
and coal
Story.
miners.
Garlish.
It's like, come on.
Oh, sorry, it was just
Katniss's dad was a racist.
Yeah, that's overreaction. That's a little.
Hunger Games is racist because of Katniss's dad working in coal mines and had some coal on his face.
Anybody wanted to know why I talked about
Come on.
West Side Story? Look about when the Puerto Rican side, how they do brown face. Oh God, I hate that as a Puerto Rican myself.
Oh yeah,
That's
Aladdin
Yeah.
was gonna be doing brown face, and then CGIing people in, and then obviously for the right reason, people freaked out about it, and they changed their tune and got
They
so
learned.
they say they got people that would be in that area at that time.
I'm pretty sure people are gonna calm down.
And I'm talking
Yeah,
about the original West Side Story, not the remake.
Oh yeah, the original one. Yeah.
Oh goddamn!
Yeah.
I gotta get HBO Max quickly.
Before the Snyder Cut comes out.
No, before Doom Patrol starts. I need to get Max. I need to get HBO Max before the second season of Doom Patrol premieres.
Isn't it still on
haven't
DC's?
finished the first season.
I think it's only airing on HBO now, isn't it? Or is it still
Yeah,
on DC?
Nice. I heard it was both DC and HBO, but I could be wrong.
What?
No, I think it's purely HBO Max.
Okay, I have to ask, what is that he's holding? Because the picture is dated to 2008. That's why I'm
Yeah,
really
I was
curious.
like, how did he get
It's
something like
wrong date. It's the Star Wars Championship.
I
Yeah,
thought so.
at the
Okay.
Spectacular.
Yeah,
That's at
that's
the
very clearly a camera.
Okay, so
Are you
hold on,
sure?
so
Time travel.
So
No,
I
it was
wanna-
a camera that wasn't
I
set.
want to bring up a story just because
Charlie brought that day.
It's innocent. But I was gonna bring it up earlier, but I wanted to like let the conversation focus on Andrew. But when the Schmoedown came to Orlando, I bought this ticket that lets you backstage. Mostly because for anyone who knows like the fan leagues and stuff, I actually do know Chance, so I just wanted to be like just randomly be like, hey, what's up, which that was funny because literally I think he like shook my hand like he was everyone else, and then when he realized who I was, he was like, oh wait, fuck, what?
Yeah, I've actually been on some of Chance's shows. Like when you did top 5, I got to be one of the guest hosts to give like a top 5 to recommend top 5 of movies, like top 5 Disney or top 5 actions or top 5 theme songs. So I know when I saw Chance at Spectacular, he did recognize me, but I didn't want to be like taking too much distraction from because I knew because at Spectacular, because Matt and I were there.
They're focused.
They had that little mini Schmoedown con where they had the Schmoedown stars, everybody there. I mean, sure, everyone got to have conversations, but I can tell that there were people lining up wanting to have like full-blown conversations with like guys like Chance, Mike, Kevin Smets, and Video Drew before, she got even bigger than she is now. I mean, Video Drew is fantastic, but this was like early Video Drew before she and Tom were broken up.
But yeah, so when they were here in Orlando, obviously when you go that backstage thing, you get to meet everyone, and so the only I remember this because like I talked to Chance for a minute, like when I was with him, and I met Mike just briefly. But I remember they had the two of them, and then they have the John and Dan and Mara were in that room. Were in the room with us. Were in the room with us as well. And they started passing around the belts because there was like 3 of them back there, and so they started passing around the belts. And I remember my only interaction with Dan Merle, because like I don't know what it is, but like I don't really fanboy when I meet people. I don't like I don't. I feel like that'd be really weird because I know they're normal people too. So I remember holding it, and Dan like walks up to me and he says something along the lines of like, "So what'd you think?" And I'm just like, "It's heavier than I thought it'd be."
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Speaking of Dan Merle's belt. That's
Yep, that is it. That is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
every time. Here's the funny thing. Here's the thing. And Matt definitely knows this. Every time Caleb carried someone's belt down the ring during the defense match, they won. So it was like he was a good luck charm. The only person who refused that Caleb
is your son the kid who was in that video running the belt down every time?
Oh yeah, that was it. That's
shit.
Picture. I was in a row right in front of them. Every time when we're seeing Ben Bateman walk down or seeing Dan Murrow come down, Caleb immediately just went right in, wanted to hold that belt, and they let them hold. Only time that didn't happen was when Mike and Corruption were coming down. Shannon had the belt on her, and Caleb wasn't able to get his hands on that.
And they lost.
Even funnier is when Caleb gave Ken the finger.
Oh yes, I love that.
Lost my
Caleb's all like this, and when Ken notices, he just turns around, kneels, and just goes like that. He was so cool. And you know what the best part was? Spectacular. That Matt, I'm not sure if you knew, the people that was sitting in front of me, Kevin Smith's girlfriend was right in front of myself and a few other guys I was in front of. Whenever we got loud, I remember once I jumped out of my seat like crazy. I immediately apologized to her and her friends because I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry because I remember my leg went up against their chair. I'm so sorry about that. I apologize. I understand if you want us to, not to, if you, want me to be down. She's like, oh, no, it's okay. And I thought it was just a regular fan. And then after the show was over, some of the people were meeting up like at bars. I ended up seeing Kevin Smith there, and there was that same girl, and it turns out she was his girlfriend. I'm like, oh, I was sitting right behind Kevin Smith's girlfriend. Well, now
Lauren Boyd's sister.
I was gonna say, if you guys want to see something funny, I actually do make a cameo in a Schmoedown match. Go back to that Orlando match. You can see me. I'm in the very front row, and almost every person that walked by, I went back and watched the video. Every interaction looked awkward as hell, but I promise when I'm like in person, it was way more natural. And then I walked the video, and I was just like, oh, I look awkward as fucking hell.
Oh no! I also have like a cameo
every time they pan to the audience. Ryan and I are sitting right there.
Well, it was only after that I realized I think I'm a bit taller than everyone else in the row, and I'm a bigger guy, so I just like weirdly stood out in the video version. I was like, "Oh Lord!"
There's also I was featured in the video during I was in the video when at one of the LA live shows when the Horsemen reformed. When they had that whole collection of everyone losing their shit, there's one photo, there's one camera shot of me holding my phone, recording the whole thing, going, woo, 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 woo. And I've got like on a fedora hat too, so it's obvious it's not me. But I know what I wore that day, so it was like it's myself there holding the camera, seeing the Horsemen up there, just going woo, 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 as loud as I could. And it was just like one of those insane moments. I swear, at every live, actually, since the LA live event, almost anytime I'm at a live event, I nearly break a piece of furniture by accident.
If you watch the Chicago event, you can see me like multiple times, like as everybody's walking, because I was basically sitting like right at the end of the row where they would all walk by and whatnot. And then as the cameras go into the audience stuff, you can clearly see me because. Like
our area was empty, which was funny. We were like right just stage center, like, and our area just the other three sections are full, but empty, and we're like sitting dead center.
Which is hilarious too, because after when Roka and Dan retained the belts against Shazam, the people who ran down the middle, myself included, were all from the center aisle. Like we were just like so. We just ran down to the stage, started pounding on the stage, and be like Roka, 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 which was just hilarious. And then of course, Matt, on the right side, there's the Action Army over there losing their crap when Andrew Guy did that video, and even then. Our area still had the more interactions, which I thought was hilarious.
He's talking shit to them, but we're the ones talking shit to Robert Meyer Burnett.
But no, that the live events are always fun. I'm hoping they come back to Chicago soon because I know that was coming up. Well, it was coming up, and then the whole thing got canceled. And it was like,
it was going to be Texas. It was going to be like Texas and Chicago. I knew they were going to come back to Arizona because
we're going to go to Boston
of last year.
Boston was getting one, which
I know Christian wanted
Boston for it.
Christian definitely wanted to come back to San Diego again, like during Comic-Con, but that was for sure.
Yeah, I think San Diego.
No, Christian said he did not want to go back to San Diego. He said it was too difficult.
Yeah, I didn't say he wanted to do it at a different time or whatever because
I know on later SCNs, I know on later SCNs that's true, but before then it was originally there. Before like earlier SCN, he said San Diego was on that schedule, and then of course after everything that happened, he's all going like, now that Christian has time to think about it, yes, he would rather do it at a better time. Yeah, born here in even living here in San Diego, when I heard it was gonna be during Comic-Con. Oh my God! This is Arizona.
This was when you drove out to Arizona. Those are authentic screen-worn Hitman gloves.
There you go.
That is beautiful.
I know they were planning.
Who hasn't your kid met? Who hasn't your kid met?
The only one that he wanted to meet that he hasn't, two would be Guy and Roka.
That is incredible.
I know already. There's one person I talk to almost on a regular basis who knows Guy and Roka. Like, I believe he. What?
I'm working on getting Guy on the show.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun for sure.
I
don't know.
Smets is coming up pretty soon. He should be joining us sometime next month.
Who?
Smets.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Well, now with all this going on, because really, before the shows, I never really knew. I mean, obviously knew him by watching Schmoedown. I never really had conversations. Now that some of them have been on multiple times, I wonder how different it's going to be at the next event, assuming any of them go. Because Chicago's the one I could go to easily. I could do Orlando because. I would just plan it as like a vacation anyway.
Yeah.
And then I want to go to Boston, so Boston would be
Orlando.
Hey, if they plan it for December, I'll be there.
I actually tried to. I had a ticket to go to Orlando last year. Last year I had a ticket to go to Orlando, but my flight had got canceled. So instead of like bitching about it, I decided to just give it to anyone who was in Orlando who was a fan of the Schmoedown.
Yeah.
And he enjoyed the show. I was just more like, hey, yeah, my flight canceled. If anybody who lives in the Schmoedown, anybody who's a fan of the Schmoedown lives in the area, or you know someone that wants to go, my ticket's available. Just message me. I'll give you the information. Hopefully you can get in. And luckily he got in. He said that he told me in a private message he was close to be selected, to be the fan to do a match.
How does that work?
That'd be fun.
I believe they just did a random shuffle, which
how does that work to being close?
Yeah, that's why it baffled me. I'm
But
like,
you get number 16, it's like 17. That's not close. They
Well,
picked
no. Because I was there, I can.
You were there,
so
yeah.
what they did was they gave everyone like just a red raffle ticket with 6 numbers on it. So he probably had multiple numbers right, and then was like one off as it got towards the end. Yeah.
He didn't tell me that. He just said he was very close.
They just bought it literally was just like a raffle ticket line you could buy at a Walmart, and they were just ripping them and handing them to you as you walked in the door. And then they had the extra copy and a hat they were Ellis was pulling out on stage.
I'll be lucky if I get
They did a similar thing in LA at the Globe Theater. Like when I was there for the Star Wars and Team Action, when they were giving away like some little prizes, they had all of us have like raffle tickets as well. So I'm glad they did that for the gold, like the golden ticket.
Yeah,
but I'd love to go to Boston actually for that show.
I was gonna say, like, if Kevin comes on here, that'd be really cool. Because if I'm being honest, like, the one person I want to meet is him, not because of anything to do with the Schmoedown, but like out of all the people from the fan leagues to make the transition, and this is gonna sound like a real brag, but I know Chance. I worked with Robert. He was a part of Movie Battleground when it began, so I know him really well. I don't know Paul as well, but I definitely have talked to Paul a number of times.
I know
Kevin's the only person who made the transition that I never actually got to meet. I was out of the fan leagues before he entered it, so I'd like to meet him.
Right.
Other than that,
Yeah, because I mean, we were gonna get Kevin on on Battleground. Like it was gonna happen.
That's true.
Were you?
Yeah, he was gonna be
Yeah,
on,
sure.
and then we
I
we could have gotten him still because with Harloff's rules,
we
it's
don't
only,
count.
It's like only trivia. It's like if they're in trivia, they can't be in fan leagues.
Because we had you got the Real Reject song.
Yeah, which
I was
I'm
able
gonna
to
try to get on
host
the
Chance's
show.
last match.
Yeah,
I
we were
hosted
gonna get that to work.
Battleground match, so I know it's possible.
Yeah, because Kevin, we had him. We were going to do it. We had him on the roster, everything, and then, I mean, he could have still competed, but obviously, I think he wanted to put more time into studying and whatnot.
Yeah,
which is
And at the same time, I can understand that he doesn't want to piss Christian off because when Christian
never really seemed to care about other leagues. It was the trivia he seemed really in on.
Because people still did movie
I
fights.
think it was also the fan interactions. I think it was the fan interactions too, because because it's not just that, but also we've had so many times where Roka, Jay, and a few other Schmoedown stars that would get into fans on Twitter or the
I got
Facebook
into
page.
it with Roka.
Roka, he gets into it with a lot of people, that's for sure.
We were fighting about something, and it was crazy.
I just know that whenever there was like not random comments, but when someone was trying to be a fire starter, or they were trying to set off a keg, trying to set off a keg powder of a topic or a debate, you can see whenever someone I knew it would get serious whenever I would see. I knew it would always be serious if I ever saw Emma fight Rachel Cushing or even Clark Wolf get very serious amongst fans.
And
those were my three. Those are my three. I knew that if they got involved, it was dead serious.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
like when me and Roka got into it, it like I didn't start it or anything. I just happened to go through comments on one of the posts, and he was going after a fan, but I felt he was going too personal, kind of going at them for like some things they can't really control. So that's when I stepped in. I was like, listen, you can't do that. Don't attack people like that. And I knew he was in character and whatnot. And I was kind of playing off of that too. but it still was kind of aggravating. So I do remember we went back and forth.
He's
on
a
that, and
real passionate guy.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry,
And then on,
Matty G. I was going to say I interrupted Matty G.
Oh.
I thought Matty G was going to say something because when I said Matt, it was like I just threw like a baton out there. Like which one's going to catch?
Yeah, which one's going to go first?
Oh, I was staring at something on the wall. Sorry.
Okay.
Got a small poster signed by damn near everybody, and I was just kind of sitting here like, oh yeah, I forgot that was there. It's from speaking of San Diego, Cushing versus Kalinowski. I was like, oh yeah.
I was dead center front. I was front row. I was maybe one of 3 people who did not get up when Mike won. I sat in my chair. Good
for you. Okay, I was gonna say this could be its own topic of a whole show. Should we bring the private jet to real life and end the stream right now?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Yeah, I was gonna let everybody finish up. So Mr. Halo 2, since you started it, where can people find you on the interweb?
On Instagram at Aaron T. Knoll on my Xbox playing Halo 3, and back I hosted a recent match of Movie Battleground that'll be up whenever the hell we upload it, and I'm still pushing to compete again. So see you guys there.
Alrighty then. Mr. Painmaker, whatever, where can people find you?
People will definitely see me again here on Suplex City Chats. We definitely, myself and Maggie G, we definitely need to get into about Backlash and definitely talking about AEW.
Speaking of that, we'll be celebrating our 20th episode Thursday night. Just a sidebar with what was going on in the world of professional wrestling, I decided to cancel the show because it was just too heavy, and I couldn't.
Yeah, just this week.
It was too heavy this week, so next week we'll be back. I'll be actually on vacation, sitting maybe at the bar.
And also, people can find me at. I am a part of the trivia fan league. So whatever division that's out there, you can look for me. Currently, I had myself a geek and a movie trivia match. So you guys can definitely look those up. Not on TMG, but on other fan leagues like Multiplex and Full Metal. Look for those matches. See how well I did. If you guys like them, hopefully you can support me when my next match comes out. If not, that's okay. I just need to improve my game.
Mr. Beer, where can people find you?
You can find me on here. Find me on this show.
Red Beer.
You might be able to find me on Twitch one day.
One day.
I might go on Twitch at some point. Just want to get my setup complete before I actually go on with it for sure. Inside Horseshoe, I know you guys are clamoring for it. Yeah, I've been getting millions of messages. Hey Matt, when's Inside Horseshoe coming back? We're gonna bring it back probably July, August, closer to the preseason.
If preseason happens,
it will happen. Whether fans or no fans, they're gonna make it happen. Unless everybody dies, it's gonna happen. And I might have something different. Might have something different coming up on either on TMG or maybe on a different channel.
Wow!
I have to decide that and then discuss it privately.
Matt's entire plug is non-committal. He's just saying
maybe. Well, the show
could happen.
But where? I don't know yet. And
that's
you
like 4 of the
might
5
find me on
podcasts.
OnlyFans, maybe.
Yikes!
Maybe on
Oh
OnlyFans.
no!
That's a big yikes!
Posting my dinner that I eat.
Move on.
Nikki,
you might as well start a marketing channel.
Yeah, you can find us here on TMG After Dark next week on Nikki Flix. That's Nikki Flix with an X, kind of like Netflix, but with Nikki. We're doing 3 new shows that we've been trying to get started for a while. Tomorrow night's the first of them, 8 o'clock Eastern. Trek Hub, it's going to be me. Alan might be there. Jacob West might be there. And Grant from Australia might be there. It's 4 time zones converging together to talk about Star Trek. Devin probably be there too.
Devin looks
Matt,
like he
you want to give a maybe for that one and see what? But tomorrow night at 8:00 on Nikki Flicks Trek Hub, we'll be launching Force Hub and Justice Tonight later in the week. But yeah, tomorrow night, find us there talking about Star Trek.
And you can find me on Google Plus at Stranger Bane.
Apparently, I didn't know you could find them there.
Okay.
That's still.
Google Plus is deactivated.
For a long
You can find me at anywhere on Facebook Day beyond Full Metal Classic tomorrow night in the match. And then, who knows? I think I have a couple matches coming up down the line.
Alrighty, and I'm Matty G. Like you heard, we'll be back next week. And this coming Thursday, we'll be back with Suplex City Jazz. All right, guys. Good night.